All right, everyone. On this episode of the Bino Salazar Jamcast, I have a very special guest, my lovely wife. She is my better half. Kristina Salazar is here with us, co-CEO of Bino Salazar Enterprises, and she's here talking about a lot of good stuff. We share some great stories. We talk about her journey, and we also talk about her song that she selected, and we talk about being a power couple and the ups and downs of marriage. And at the end, stick around. Our producer Norm hits us with a lightning round of questions. A lot of good stuff this week on the Bino Salazar Jamcast. Check it out.
Bino Salazar Jamcast.
You really want to do it?
Yeah. I'm sitting here.
I wasn't serious. I was just playing.
Okay, bye.
You called my bluff.
Okay, bye.
All right, here we go. Music is the inspiration that drives us all. It truly is the window to my soul. Hey, what's going on, everybody out there in TV land? This is Bino Salazar. Welcome to the Bino Salazar Jamcast. I believe this is episode number 4. I'm so excited about it. I have a very special guest sitting to my left. She's known in many circles. She has many names, but I'm going to start out. She's known as K-Lo. She's also known, a.k.a. as Mrs. Salazar. She is the baddest chick in the game, and she's also the co-CEO of Bino Salazar Enterprises, the one and only, my wife, 20 years deep in the game, Kristina Salazar. How you doing, baby?
I'm good, Mr. Salazar.
Wow, that was so sexy how you did that.
I'm trying. I gotta be on your level because you're up here and I'm still down here. So.
20 years we've been together. I think it's the first time you've ever said that you're trying to be on my level. So I've already won.
This is your show, so I gotta give it to you.
I appreciate that. I really do think that you thought this was a joke when I said, hey, maybe we'll get you on the podcast and get you, here talking. And when we started discussing it, I saw a different look in your face where you were like, no, dude, I really want to do this.
No, I was excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think after watching you do it a couple times, some of your stories, I wanted to say stuff because I've been sitting in the background and watching, and I was like, oh, I can add so much more to that story. I know the opposite side of that story, so it was exciting. I like watching, and I don't know. This seems like fun.
Okay. All right. I will say this. I disagree about you being in the background. And I think today in this episode, we're going to find out and we're going to learn you've been right along with me the whole time, not in the background. You've been right with me. And in many cases, I'll say, propping me up throughout. Just wait. We're going to see where this episode goes. I don't know. They're like, man, you're going to have your wife on your podcast? What?
Danger.
I made you guys a commitment, and I made a commitment to OTM Presents and Norm that when we did this, we were going to be honest. We were going to be real and put it out there. Let's be honest, guys. In social media and in YouTube and everything you see on TV right now, there's so much that says is reality, but it's not really reality. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I got my wife on here, and if you know anything about her, she tells the truth even when she lies. So we're going to leave some of this stuff in the editing room floor, maybe just a couple things, but we're going to see where it goes. But anyways, we're going to dig right into it. I'm excited that you're here. And, I will say
I kind of live here, so.
Yeah, you live here. Well, by the way, we do these shows right here in our humble abode. But let me tell you a little bit about why I think it's also good to have you on. Is, when people get to know us and we start going into our stories, they can clearly see we have been together for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
We've been together 20 years, married. Damn, on the spot. 16?
Oh, see, and you're the one that normally knows those things.
16 years?
Yeah.
16 years deep married.
This year will be 16.
We got together in the year 2000. February of 2000.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's easy.
I
You
was
just
young.
got to remember the
Yeah.
millennium, and then that's how long we've been
Millennium,
together.
yep.
Right. But
You got lucky.
I did get lucky. More than you know, baby. So when people talk to us and we go into our stories, I mean, there's stories we have told so many times, and in having conversations when we talked about doing this show, we wanted to put these stories in front of you guys and let you hear them. So for those that really know us, some of these stories they already know.
Yeah.
And some of these stories I've already talked about a little bit in some of the other episodes, but which is what she said, I got more color to that. I got more information, and I want to talk about that, and I can give my perspective on that. So you are truly a guest today, even though you're my wife and I love you dearly. You are a guest. So today's episode is about you. I'm gonna put you in the spotlight. We're gonna put you up and shine today. How about that? You okay with that?
Don't embarrass me.
I think that's already happened. Once we
I'm
put
not
this,
embarrassed yet, but
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
okay, all
I
right.
think I'll be okay.
So the theme of today's episode, we have a theme every single episode. This one, it's our power couple episode. And I take it very seriously because, there's a lot of phrases and hashtags and quotes that get put on social media. And I think sometimes people just say it and they don't really know what it means. But today we're going to talk a little bit about what really is a power couple. And, I like to speak about us in a positive way. It's not about being cocky. It's about being confident. You got to have confidence in your marriage and in your relationship. And when, we've had people, we put posts up on Facebook and Instagram. People are like, you guys are a power couple. And I thought about that and said, man, how do you respond to that? Yeah, I know. Yeah, we bad. No.
No, actually, I get uncomfortable when people say that to me because I feel like then if I'm like, oh, yeah, we're great, we're awesome, then I'm being like cocky about it and conceited. And so like I try not to be like, oh, yeah, we're the power couple. But like it feels good when people say it to us. Like I love it, but I also get really uncomfortable because I don't know how to respond. Like just compliments in general. I'm like, ooh. How do you do that?
Right. Because also too, like social media by nature is your highlight reel. Let's be honest. People put up when they do something great, when they go somewhere that they don't go to all the time. Hey, we're here. Yeah, we went to what was that place we went to in Vegas? Nobu.
Nobu,
Nobu is like this posh spot and people go there and like we put it up.
We were like so excited too. We're like, we're at Nobu, check it out.
But we've never been there before. I went with work. We didn't pay. So when I say that, when I put it all out there like that, what is that? What am I trying to say? We were excited to post it, and people that don't know us are like, man, they're balling out of control, man. They went to Nobu. That was great, but I went with work. It was a work trip.
Yep.
So what I'm saying in that is that also too is it's not always the highlight reel stuff that it's the stuff that you don't see. But when people see the positive and the things that we put out there, and they say, man, that's kind of awesome. And I don't think it's just the post that we have. I think it's the messages that are out there, the things that we share. We involve our kids and stuff. We involve each other and stuff. And we'll talk about that in today's episode. But I think people can kind of see that we're legit.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, if you don't believe the words we say, look at the time, 20 years deep. Especially nowadays, you've been with someone 20 years, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I do like to always tell people too, like, what you see now took us a really long time to get to. Like, it took us years to get to the point where we're at, where we're like, we're confident in our relationship enough to put stuff on Facebook or to put stuff on social media and like to share our stories and stuff like that. So like, it didn't happen overnight. So like, I like to make sure everybody knows, like, it took us a long time and we had our fair share of ups and downs. So like, you just got to remember, like, if you're willing to put in the work, it's going to be good for you.
Yeah, you'll definitely get something out of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so enough about us as a couple for a second. I want to peel the layers back. And as we talked about my journey along the way, and I knew this and I didn't say it to you in the first episode, but I feel like I didn't do enough diligence of talking about my journey along the way unless I talked about you. Because I really think, and I'm going to go right for it, a lot of that stuff and most of what I talked about would not be possible if I didn't have you next to me.
Duh. I'm just kidding. I feel like that's for both of us, though. Like, a lot of, like, the things that I've done in my life wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for you. So I feel like we both kind of did that for each other.
Yeah. And isn't that what a relationship is that you offset each other, you cover each other's blind spots?
Yeah, for
right?
Sure.
It really is a team. Hence the shirts we got today. Now, also, we don't just have.
We're so lame.
We are so.
We're
We're the matching shirt couple now. This is the first time we've had matching shirts. But in addition to that, we also have matching tattoos with that as well. She was on an Instagram kick or a Pinterest kick and saw the tattoo. And so when we hold our hands and face it, it's backwards. So we hold our hands down. It's got the king and the queen. And so I saw this online. I thought it would be cool. And I thought we'd pull it out for our power couple episode. So I'll say this. I read a lot on Instagram and online and done a lot of self-discovery. But in reference to couples, I do know this. It is the only time in math where 1 + 1 = 1. And what does that mean? In a couple, you don't want a codependent relationship is one where you can't exist on your own. You need the other person, right? But 1 + 1 = 1 means you are independent on your own. You can do it on your own, but you choose to be with the other person.
Right.
And with that, you create a unit. And so it's 1 + 1 = 1. When I say that, what does that mean to you?
That we're like, we're a team. Like, we're not just like me and I do my thing and I, do what I need to do separately from you. Like, if I do something, it affects you too, because we're a unit. We're one. We're a couple. We're united. Like, we do everything together. So if I do something, that means that you're doing it right along with me.
Yeah. Like the end result, it doesn't matter who gets the credit for it necessarily.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of times in my life where I've had accomplishments and I couldn't verbalize how I wouldn't even be in that position if it wasn't for you. And, you don't always get an opportunity to give thanks and to do that in front of people, but I do that afterwards and and I share that with you. But it's the end result, even though I'm the one that's getting the applause, I'm getting it for Team Bino.
Right. And I don't need that recognition because we're doing it. I'm doing it for you.
Right.
And you're doing it for me. So
absolutely.
If I'm getting praise for something that I did that you helped me through, I know that you were there and you know that. So we don't need that for each other. Like, okay. I don't need you to tell me, oh, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Or I don't need somebody else to be like, oh, good for you that you helped him get through that because, you deserve the praise too. I don't need that.
Right.
Like, I just, you doing it and me being able to help you is enough.
Yeah. And I was going to wait to talk about it, but I'm just feeling it right now to talk about it. I think something that's important in relationships, because I want to hear about your past and I want to share that with people. And then even time before we met, we're going to do that. But before I do that, I want to touch on this one point. I think it's important in a relationship that you know when to give the spotlight up to the other person. Right?
Yeah.
I think many times in a relationship, you get someone who's the alpha. You get someone who wears the pants in the relationship, people say.
Just kidding.
You really do. Do you get someone who wears the pants and then someone who just kind of, yes, dear.
Yeah.
No, yes, whatever you say, dear. And it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
But also, too, when you're more social like we are, I mean, we are social butterflies. We're always talking to people. If you see us on social media, I mean, we're not like royalty and, we're hanging out with celebrities and doing all that stuff.
Right.
We're the real, like, social butterflies. Like, in our circle, in our people, we're always talking and spinning a lot of plates, right?
Yeah.
But in order to do that, we got to be able to play off each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just about me. It's not just about you. We'll be in situations and we'll realize walking in, all right, this is, and I consciously do this, and we've talked about this.
Yeah.
We'll go to like an event and I'll say, she needs to shine today.
Yeah.
This day is important to her. I need to lift her up and she needs to shine. I need to bring this out of her. I need to build her up. She needs to be confident.
Yeah.
Then there's other days where traditionally, like if I have to do a show or if I've had to do something with music, I've always told her the biggest thing that you can do for me, and it's almost the stereotypical man-woman thing, I believe. In a traditional relationship, I know things are changing in 2020, but I'm just going to say how I feel. Do you? But I think, in my opinion, one of the most important things a wife can do for her husband is when he leaves the door and he goes out for battle, that she prepares him mentally and makes him confident to go out for battle so that he can come home for the day.
Yeah.
To go out there and work and to put in his 40 hours or to go on stage. And you do that for me, that you make me confident that you're like, you got this.
Yeah.
You're good enough. Do you? Like we'll talk about some of the stories, but like the American Idol audition,
Oh God.
when I had to do that. And I don't know if we're ready to unpack it yet because I want to get to my point. But like you encouraged me, you're like, look, get in there. Like you got this. Like you can do this. You're already good enough. It's just whether or not you show it today.
I do think it's because you're like your own worst critic. So like when you need that extra push to do something that you want to do, but you're not like 100% sure you want to do it, like it's something that I need to like push you, just give you that little extra boost that you need to do it.
And when you say that to me, I'm immediately thinking of the ways in which I've also done that for you.
Yeah.
Where I pushed you up. Maybe in your way, it's not getting on stage and singing on a microphone, although you've done that. Hint, hint, we're going to talk about that. But we're times where you've done things where I had to lift you up and be like, hey, you got this.
For sure.
Right? You know, so I'm going to pocket that. I know where we're going to go with that, but we're going to come back. So I want to go back to when we met. And I just want to mention it. And I want to go back even further than that to talk about you a little bit, because I know when I do things and we posted and in my journey, that gets a lot of attention, and you don't put all that stuff out there. And quite frankly, a lot of that stuff happened before internet got really, really big and social media. So, we don't have a record of that, but we talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But we met in 2000. Do we want to tell our story on how we met?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Do we want to
wait? Do we want to like tell the full story? Or we just want to give like a little like
introduction
of like the story, or do you want to hear my story and then hear his story?
You know what? I think.
Norm, what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear my story, or you want to hear his story?
I think if you hear my story, I'm going to lead the witness. And
no, I think you want to hear my story.
Yeah, let's get her side of the story.
You know what? We got you on the episode. If they wanted to hear me, it would just be me on here. You're here, so we met.
Well, we're going to hear my side.
Tell them how when you saw me. You saw a beam of light come down.
Oh God!
And
it
the
was
sky opened up.
Quite the opposite, actually. Actually, what's funny is, so we used to work at the Holiday Inn in Elmhurst. My sister and I were waitresses in the restaurant, and then there was a bar that was connected that you can see into the bar. So she calls me one day and she was like, "Oh my God, there's this really hot DJ that just came in to like do karaoke." She's like, "You got to come check him out." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." Like I was dating somebody at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, nah, I'm okay." So then the next time I work on a Friday night, he's there and he's DJing, and I heard him sing, and I was like, "Oh, he's good," but I wasn't interested.
Not her type, she says. I wasn't her type.
I was like, he's not my type. So we were actually gonna try and hook him up with my aunt.
With your who?
My aunt, she's like 4 years older than me. So she's, she was around his age. And so we were going to try and hook him up with her. And my one other cousin actually came out with us one night when he was there. And he actually gave his number to my cousin.
Yeah. And so it took 20 years to be honest about it. But finally, I admitted I did.
Yeah.
Initially.
So he was trying to hook up with my cousin.
I was trying to holler at her cousin.
Which was fine. I mean, I wasn't interested. But what happened was she was like, "Well, you call him," because she wanted to go do some karaoke, and he said he could get us into the bar. We're underage. I was only 19. So she's like, "Why don't you call him so we can go do karaoke?" And I was like, "No, he gave you the number. Like, I don't want to talk to him. You call him." So long story short, I called him. We ended up talking for like 3 hours on the phone, and that's how we started dating.
Now that's your side of the story. But I will say
the real story.
The 3 hour that did happen. We went on a 3 hour tour. We did have the 3 hour conversation.
3 hours.
Had a question.
What's
3
that?
hours. Did you know it was her on the phone, or did you think it was the cousin?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, I never thought to ask him that.
You know what? I will say this. All right, I'm going to be honest. By the end, I know it was you.
Wait. So in the beginning, you didn't know it was me?
Well, no, you had given your name. All right, so look, we're honesty, and we're going to put it out there. Norm is going to get
20 years.
We're going to have a conversation.
Wow.
Honestly. No. If I remember back in the conversation, we talked about like who you were. Like you didn't. Here's the thing: you weren't trying to be misleading and be like, "Oh, I'm your cousin."
No,
you were honest.
Yeah. I said who I was, but you probably just didn't remember who you gave your number to.
I'll say this: I didn't have 20 numbers out there, and I just had my hook in the water, and whoever called me. But look, my time is valuable. I wasn't going to spend 3 hours on the phone with somebody I didn't know who it was. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I will say this. We've talked about it. You were working in the restaurant because you weren't old enough. You were only 19.
Yeah.
So you weren't old enough to be on the other side.
No.
But you could see over.
None of us were. Yeah, we could see, like you could see into the bar. We couldn't actually go into the bar because we weren't old enough.
Right.
So yeah.
I have thought about this. Honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. And I really mean that because let's be honest. Most of the reason why people get together and they look at each other and you know, we definitely, and I'm just complete honesty, we definitely find each other attractive. That's not a problem. Like I said, we definitely have that with each other.
Now we do. No.
We do it now more than ever, baby. You know what I'm saying? But
wow.
when you meet someone, okay, someone
Yeah.
catches your eye or a circumstance, someone says something
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, let me holler at her. Let me do all that.
Yeah.
We just didn't have that opportunity. You were working. You were in a polo.
Oh,
Used
God.
to wear
It
these
was awful.
polos
It was
in the restaurant.
It was like a button down with a collar, and it was white and green stripes. Not the best look for anybody.
Right.
It was
And I
bad.
was working, and so me, you know, I got to be the life of the party. I was, you know, dressed up, looking good, doing all that stuff, putting on a show.
So he thought.
And I remembered, okay, so we're going to talk about that situation. Hey, I did.
Wait,
hey,
you had like a see-through shirt on, I think.
I did.
It was like
it was
like a see-through like mesh black
Oh.
shirt. Yes,
It
no
wasn't
joke.
mesh. It was
yes,
not
it
mesh.
was. It
All right.
was too.
By
it
the
was
way,
mesh,
this is
yes.
the first episode. We do have
Yeah.
a studio audience over there, and they're all over there laughing. It wasn't mesh.
It was.
So mesh see-through.
Yes,
Was
it
it?
was like, you know, those shirts that
Can I
that
give
you
you
wore
the
back
proper?
in.
Can I give you the proper
Like a
terminology? Sheer. It was sheer. It was slightly sheer.
Oh
you
my
weren't.
goodness!
you
It was
weren't-
still see-through, guys. It was still see-through.
Look, at the time, I had a personal trainer. I was feeling myself. I was out doing shows. It was the summertime. You know, I got to lift this equipment. I was hot. I needed to have some air. Anyways, I remember that night. What I do remember is I remember there was a table and there was a whole bunch of girls. It wasn't just your cousin and your aunt.
Yeah, it was me.
There was a whole
It was
troop of
me
you
and my
rolling deep.
sister and my cousin. A couple of my cousins, actually. I have a lot of cousins, guys.
Big family.
And maybe even my mom.
No, your mom wasn't there.
No,
I don't think so.
she used to always be there with us, so
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, we did have that story. We can tell that
Yeah,
story
yeah.
when I met your mom.
But yeah, no, we yeah, it was a lot. It was like all of us.
Yeah.
like just hanging out.
No, I will say this. I remember meeting you and being like, she's pretty. You know what I mean? I
Yes,
remember
but-
seeing all that. But look, you're sitting there.
She's pretty, but she's not pretty enough. Let me
Look.
give her cousin my number.
Look, we can sit there and we're going to get deep and we're going to get right to the heart of it for a second. We could sit there and we could criticize that it wasn't your traditional, wow, when I met you, this, like when I joke about it, when I met you, the stars came out of the sky
Yeah.
and you hit me with
It's
an
funny
arrow.
because it's not because we were both like, we're good.
Yeah. Honestly, it's because of the 3-hour conversation. And even though you didn't say it, you did say this to me because we've talked about this story a million times.
Yeah.
You've never had a conversation with anyone like that before.
Yeah, ever.
The
Never.
things that we talked
Yeah.
about, the questions I asked, the things that I pulled out of you in conversation. And I remember there was one day after that, like we had these long talks. You were in the driveway sitting in your car.
Yeah.
And you would go out to the driveway, sit in the car and talk to me. And we talked for
Yeah,
hours.
we would talk all, yeah. Back
Honestly,
when you talked on the phone, not texted people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we had all these conversations and we put work in the beginning. And I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. We're gonna share even more. So when we met, you were 19. I'm 3.5 years older.
Three, almost three exactly.
3, a little over
Yeah,
3.
because you're 43.
Yeah.
I'll be 41.
I had moved out of my house when I was a senior in high school. So I was an old 22,
Yeah.
23, whatever. I was,
Yeah.
out there, music business, doing it. You're a young 19,
Well, very young 19.
a sheltered 19.
Yeah,
Can you say
very-
sheltered?
Very sheltered. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well,
even
because
though
my
it was
parents were, they were strict, and my dad didn't want us doing anything stupid. So
Yeah.
we were in the house a lot.
yeah. So I actually premeditated and planned to meet you.
No, you didn't.
When I say it, you're gonna be like, okay, we talked about that, but yeah. So in episode 1, I talked about when I kind of started to
Oh, I
give
think
up,
I
give up
remember
on the
this
music
conversation,
business and
yeah.
be like, you know what, this is not for
Yeah.
me. It's not working out.
I remember.
Really, what I really wanted at the end of the day, there were times during my journey in the music business where I was so lonely, guys. You don't know who's real around you. You got yes people. Everyone is trying to make their name off of your credit, trying to steal things from you. You don't know who you
Yeah.
can trust. I wanted to have that person. I wanted that ride or die. I had a friend And I used to always be jealous that whenever he dated someone, I just felt like they were always like his friend, like they were always with a ride or die.
I remember you telling me that, yeah.
And when I moved back home and I kind of started to close the book in the music business, I, in my mind, said I wanted to consciously find a good girl. I wanted to find a good girl, someone that would be my ride or die. And, you know, when you go and you seek out a good girl, there's things that you have to put aside and there's a different way you have to approach it. Like pull your chair out, open the door, take you to the movies.
Yeah.
This sounds very traditional, but let's just say at
But
that
you
time
did
in
all
my
those
life,
things.
I didn't do all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and I was a young guy out there doing my thing. So, you know, you just doing what young guys do, right?
Yeah.
But when I came back home, that was not what I wanted to do. And look, it was a detour for sure. We had that 3-hour conversation and talking to you. I can confidently in my heart 100% say, I knew you were a good girl. And I said, this is the good girl. This is the good girl that I wanted. And so I made sure that I watched my P's and Q's and I did all the things that you're supposed to do when you meet a good girl.
You
and,
did.
you know, I met your parents and did all
Yeah.
that stuff. And we actually dated 5 years before I proposed.
Yeah.
So, you know, I
Long
did it
time.
a lot. And it wasn't because I wasn't ready to get married. Honestly, you know, I was already felt like we were connected. I really wanted to do it right. It was a conscious choice
Yeah.
that I wanted to do that. So anyways, young 19, I was experienced. I'm out there doing all that. But, yeah. So, taking you back to when we met, because that's
Yeah.
where we started here. I remember the table and all that. And yes, I didn't give my number to your cousin. Your cousin gave her number to me.
No.
Is that what happened?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
No. We can call her.
All right. So anyways, all right. So maybe I got the details wrong. Maybe we exchanged numbers. Guys, 20 years ago. I'm getting pretty old. But then you guys actually did come out. And I remember
We
when
did, yes.
you
Yeah.
came out. You
We
came
did.
out. I used to do this spot in Berwyn called Luciano's. And it was a
Yes.
restaurant bar in Berwyn. It's not there any longer.
Yeah, that was
It
fun.
was an awesome spot. And you came out. And I think you brought your aunt.
I did.
That was the beginning of I love your aunt. I don't know if you want to put her name out there, but that was the beginning
She
of
knows who she is.
her. She was your ride along.
She was.
She was the plus one everywhere you went.
Funny is like my mom used to make me take her with me everywhere I went because like, you know, my parents didn't really like shelter us a ton, but like when I got older, my mom, you know, we didn't go out a ton. So my mom was like, oh, hey, take your aunt with you. Because she was like, you know, around my age, like take her with you so she can watch out over you. And I'm like, okay. So she actually came on like our first couple dates with us.
Yeah, watching me from the
Yeah.
back. You better keep your hands to
She had a
yourself.
chaperone.
Yeah, like
She
our
was a
chaperone.
straight up
yeah.
chaperone.
No joke.
But she came out. I remember.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this. So you know, we talked about the night we met. Find numbers, exchanged, 3-hour
Yeah.
conversation. Finally, okay, I got them in karaoke. She came to see me do a show. But when she came out, I had all these things that were wrong with me. I didn't realize that I had just. The next day, I found out I had strep.
Yeah.
So I was sick.
It was so sick.
I had some workout injuries. I had done like bicep curls the day before, and I had taken
Yeah.
creatine and didn't take the right stuff with it. So my arms were all locked up. I couldn't lift
He
my
was
arms
trying to
over
be
my
jacked
head.
for when he saw
Oh,
me.
and I had blown my knee out a week before. I had injured my knee,
Yeah.
and I was on like because I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
So I was taking like painkillers for my knee. So I was all messed up.
Yeah.
And so I remember, I don't know if it was that first week after or something. So you came out to karaoke, you saw
Right.
me, and we do have a picture of me with the bucket hat.
Oh, that hat.
And in the
hated
picture,
that
I
hat.
looked super sick.
Yeah.
But I
that
was
was
sick.
on like your mom's porch.
You know what? One of the touching things that you did, which, like I said, in the beginning, straight up, I wanted to be with a good girl. These little things that you did, you backed it up very
Yeah.
quickly, and it put me on my heels to be like, look, I can't be a dirtball. Like, I got a good girl here. I got to come correct. I got to do this right. You came to my house
I remember.
and you rubbed my feet.
With the same cousin who you gave the number to.
That was a little odd.
It was.
That was a little odd.
We
But
brought him soup and we came.
yeah, you
and,
brought me
like,
soup.
We
Like,
came
it
and
came to
took
my
care of
house.
him.
They took care of me.
and,
And, like for me, like I've never
Yeah.
had that before. You know, it was just different. And so, yeah, you know, and so you started to kind of come out, and then we never really we kind of made up the date that we started
we
dating.
did. Because I think it was.
Because we weren't together on Valentine's Day.
No, we had met right before Valentine's Day, but like really started like hanging out more like after. So we just kind of were like, we're not
We
going to
looked at
say
the calendar,
Valentine's Day.
it
We're
was
going to
this-
say like 2 days after Valentine's
Exactly.
Day.
So February 17th,
Yeah.
2000 is the date that we
Mhm.
decided on. And so then, we started dating. We started hanging out, and the rest is history, right?
That's it.
But
Okay, show's over.
I wanna go back to when I had said about a young 19,
Okay.
right? And talk about the time even before you met me, because you told me stories about, you really come into your own now. Anybody that knows you now, you are a completely different person.
Yeah, I am.
And a lot of people change 20 years. You
Yeah.
change, but
I changed a lot though.
your change
I
is
changed a lot.
significant. I always joke whenever I'm mad at her, not serious mad, when we're bickering back and forth, I'll be like, man, why you talk so much now? When I met you, you didn't say nothing. She's like, her favorite place to eat was Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Now it's Capitol.
don't joke.
Now it's Capitol Grill. And
That's
now,
hey, that's your fault. I tell him all the time too, like, that's your fault. I did not know how to communicate with people at all when I was younger. Like,
now she knows what her favorite wine is. She's never short on words. And when I met her, she was like, I like unicorns. Never talked. I'm like, where do you want to go?
He's not
Wherever you
lying,
want.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you want to eat? Whatever you like.
He still does talk a lot more than I do, though.
When I met her, she was the chick from
He just keeps going. It doesn't
she was
stop.
the chick from Coming to America. What food do you like? Whatever food you like.
Stop lying.
What movie you want to see? Whatever movie you like.
He's lying. Obviously, he's making that up.
Oh yeah? How come our first date we went to go see Gladiator for 3 hours? I needed 3 hours.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
What, is it not good? I always heard that it's not good to take on your first date
Yeah.
to take your date to a movie.
Well, we did have a chaperone, so I guess it really didn't matter where we went.
It was a 3 hour movie. We went to go see Gladiator. Yeah. I really wanted to see it. It was a 3 hour. I looked at it like this.
A pretty gruesome movie to take your first date.
See, I looked at it completely different. It was a 3 hour movie, so that meant I had 3 hours to make my move. You know what I'm saying? Got in the movie.
It didn't happen.
Didn't happen that night. Anyways,
maybe next time.
I want to go back and talk, and I'm going to say a phrase, and it's going to sum up the pre-Bino era.
Okay.
Ready?
No.
Miguel's little sister.
Oh God, why did you have to say that?
Like you used to tell me all these stories about how, in terms of identity, and we've talked about identity on this show and how important it is. And for you, before you met me, I heard stories about how everybody just knew you as your brother's little sister.
Yeah, forever. Well, so my brother's a year older than me, and
how many? You have one brother?
I have one older brother and a younger sister. My sister's 3 years younger than me, and then Miguel and I are the closest.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in sports. He was, funny. Like had a lot of friends. So like everywhere I went, I was little Mike or Miguel's little sister or little Diaz or like I was like their little toy to like beat up and kick around all the time. So, yeah. So I didn't really have my own like personality in high school or in junior high because I was always just his little sister. And so I kind of had to like fill that role. Like, okay, I'm going to be his little sister. What do you guys need?
Well, he was like in football. Yeah. And we talked about this before in other episodes too. Like when you're in sports, you're just popular. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially like, he was in sports.
Yeah, I can't say that it was all bad because it was very helpful to have, like, when you go to high school's tough. And like for me.
What high school did you go to?
Fenton.
Where's that?
In Bensonville.
Oh, okay. Shout out Fenton.
Yeah,
Bison.
Fenton Bison. Yeah.
Okay.
But he made it easier. Like I said, I didn't have my own identity. So like when I went to high school, it was cool. I was cool because I was Miguel's sister. So I knew all his friends and all his friends looked out for me. And, then I had, my cousin who was a little bit older. And so then he kind of looked out for me. So it made it a lot easier to go through high school. I mean, I had my own friends. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't a loser, but but it was helpful to like have him and like his friends kind of like, guide me through high school and, that was cool.
Well, look, even though you told me that story, and I think you even had a jersey that had.
Yeah, so we pay, Powder Puff. Yeah.
Powder Puff.
So every year, during homecoming, we play it, and that was always my name on the back of my jersey was Little Mike.
Wow.
Oh, every year up until senior year of high school, Little Mike.
Yeah.
So.
And you rolled with it. It's not like
I did. I mean, what was I gonna do? I mean. I wasn't really outgoing. I wasn't. I was really shy actually in high school. I actually was just telling Jackie this story earlier that this guy I went to high school with a couple years after high school. I saw him. He was like, "Oh, I thought you were a nerd. Like you were so quiet. Like I always thought you were a nerd in high school." I'm like, "No, I didn't get good grades." Sorry.
Look at you now. Look at you now, huh? So you talked about not having an identity in high school and, your brother's little sister and all that, but you actually did do some things in high school. Like you actually in sports.
Yeah.
Right?
I was, so I did track my freshman and sophomore year. I was in gymnastics and I was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you tell me like in grade school you were in choir?
I was actually was in swing choir and choir.
All right. I didn't know the swing choir part. That's actually a hot take.
I was in swing choir.
I didn't know swing choir.
Actually, I had a solo in swing choir. Did you not? I never told you this story.
What is it about being in front of a camera?
I actually have a plaque that I got when I was in choir.
We're gonna talk about this later. Anime. We're gonna talk after.
I was in a play.
Wait, let's back up. Back up. What is this solo? I want to know what song.
I think it was This Little Light of Mine.
Is it This Little Light of Mine?
Yeah, so I was
I'm
me
gonna let
and
it shine.
this other guy, and we both had parts, and so he did his part first, and then I did my part, and then we sang together, and then that was
You had a solo?
I did.
Who is this person? Did you save it for now? Man,
No, honestly, I don't know why we never had. Like, I don't know why we never talked about it.
We talked about stuff probably.
I
too
know.
much. Nowadays,
I
when you've
feel
been
like
together
I
this
hear,
long,
yeah.
you're like, I've heard this story.
Yeah,
10
Gabby will
times
tell me
over.
stories. I'm like, yeah, I've already heard this one. You don't have to keep going. You can stop now.
So why now all of a sudden?
I don't know. You've never asked.
Damn.
Yeah.
I gotta just take that. It
Yeah.
burns. I gotta let it burn. I'm Usher. I feel like Usher right now. I
Yeah.
gotta let it burn.
Let it burn.
All right. So
I had solo.
and you were in a musical too?
I was in swing choir. I was in Phantom of the Opera. I had like three.
Okay, I did hear
I had
that.
like 3 lines in Phantom of the Opera.
You were the tree in Family?
No, I was like a ballerina, and I literally had like 2 lines. I think it was like, "Oh no, somebody's coming," or something stupid.
Okay. So
It
you
was-
had things that you were into. You had interests.
Yeah.
But, high school is tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some people find themselves in high school and some people don't. I did not. Well, I did find.
Yeah, I don't think I found myself in high school.
Yeah.
I think I found myself way after high school. Probably
Yeah.
just like in the last like 5 years.
Yeah, you came on strong the
Yeah.
last.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's through challenges
Yeah.
and through struggle and through tough times that you really find yourself. So I have a professional career as well, and in coaching people,
Oh, do you?
one of the things I've learned and been trained is when you coach someone for improvement, most people don't change unless their back is against the wall and you force them to.
Yeah.
If they're in a situation where you're like, hey man, if you don't improve, unfortunately, I might have to put you on a corrective action. You might not be with the organization. Like you might have to go and find another job if you don't get it right. And so there's been a lot of things that have happened in your life that you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You had to level up or you weren't going to be able to get through, right?
Right.
Right. And so that's why I think really the last 5 or maybe 7 years, you've had a lot that's happened. We've had a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
And we've had to rise to the occasion and rise to the challenge. And it's made us who we are, right?
Yeah.
And also too, like I needed you. So part of your challenge was because of me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like we needed to be there for each other. Like, man, if we're going to get there. And so now we're
Yeah,
different.
I do feel like in the last like 5 to 10 years, you and I both had some major struggles in our lives that we both like really needed like the support.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you have to give support to someone in a way that you don't necessarily are accustomed to, that you're not accustomed to, or that you are comfortable doing, or that you want to do. Like, man, I wasn't planning on having to be there for people like this, or whatever. Like how come he can't just do this, or how come she can't just do that?
Why can't you just deal with it on your own?
Right, but then you realize, man, he needs this out of me, right? He needs me to be there and do this, even though it's tough. So, but anyways, going back, you're in choir, you're in gymnastics.
Yeah, cheerleading, track. I think I tried
So you were,
out.
wait, I
I
thought
think
you
I
were.
tried out for volleyball one year. I didn't make it. I wasn't very good at volleyball.
So you were in Palms, you said?
You want to die?
All right, so I set that up. What is the big deal about Palms?
We hated the Palms girls in high school.
Why?
Like the cheerleaders hated the Palm girls. I don't know.
We're gonna put this out there on blast. Cheerleaders and Palms. What's the problem? Is this like?
No, I don't think it's all. No, I don't think
is
it's
this like
all,
Crips and Bloods?
No.
What's the deal here? Like cheerleaders and Palms?
It's
Do they not like each other?
It's not all high schools. It was just we just didn't like the Palm squad.
Why?
I don't know. I don't remember. I
Really?
mean, that was a long time
Is
ago.
it because
it was
like,
probably something stupid, like we didn't like one of the girls or something. I don't know. It's probably
it's not
something
because
dumb.
like, see, I thought it was completely different. In my mind, I actually had a logic to it that I
Oh,
would
and
say
they were better than us.
cheerleaders. Cheerleaders are like, oh, poms aren't real cheerleaders because they have to have props. That's what I thought it was.
No. Well, they were just like, I don't know, they just danced. So
Okay.
we did stunts.
Oh, okay.
But they were like really good. And like they went to state and stuff. So I guess that's like a little jealousy, hate type of thing.
Okay. So it's more specific to
know.
the Fenton squad circa 19, whatever.
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
Okay. But so I don't know.
Moving on.
We're not going to put all that out in the street. All right. So look, you did some things in high school and so you had like interests that ended up coming out later in life, but you were doing some stuff. You just didn't really come out of your shell until later on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was hard. I was really shy. Like actually I kind of feel it coming out right now. I'm a little warm. But yeah, I was like really shy. I had my group of friends and like, you know, we hung out, but I never ventured outside of that. Like I was like, this is my group of people and I don't need to know anybody else. And this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got you. So we get to us meeting and there's this like quiet, although reserved, it was a front. You're not a reserved person. And I'm sure your cousins were like, Kristina is not reserved.
I was.
Really?
When we met, I was. Maybe
Okay.
not now, but yes, when we met, I totally was. Yeah,
All right.
100%.
I saw the other side. I knew that you weren't, because honestly, I don't think it would have worked because I'm a talker.
Yeah.
I need you
You
to
are?
answer. I need you to answer my questions and we need to have dialogue. Look, there's no way would have been on the phone for 3 hours and you got something out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
If we
Because
both
I would
weren't
have been
talking.
like,
This guy will shut up. Hey, right?
Hey,
Right?
we're good.
So I will tell you the early part of our relationship, the first couple months that I knew that you were going to come into your own, where I was like, okay, this is a good girl, but also too, she has good fundamentals, comes from a good family, great parents, raised well, all that stuff. And I'm just going to put it out there, is when I motivated you to do a karaoke contest. And you don't sing.
No.
I mean, you sing around the house.
No.
You throw your country playlist
I think the
on.
last time I sang like that was when I was in junior high, when I was in choir and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, yeah. Because I don't know. I don't feel like I have a good voice. Like I feel like my voice is
Do you know I hate
awful.
to hear my voice when I sing?
Oh, I hate to hear my voice.
You hate
just
to hear my
talking.
voice when I
Like,
sing, too.
Yeah, I hate to hear your voice. Only when you're trying to sing in different languages.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, like you actually were in a karaoke
Yeah.
contest. I coached you.
You did.
You were my protege.
Oh, and I practiced that song every single
What song is
day.
that? What song is that, Chris? You want to put it out there? Waterfalls by TLC.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it took me about a month to learn all the lyrics and the rap part. So yes, I did the rap part.
She knows the
I
rap
know
part. She can
all of it.
Hey, Chris can spit.
Yeah.
So you got
Maybe
bars.
not
She
so
got
much.
bars.
I can't.
She
I
rolls.
can't
She's got
Can you
16
do it right
bars.
No.
Go hit it a little freestyle.
No,
But
no. I'm
no,
good. No.
you're good.
Yeah.
The melody?
I was so
No, I'm not singing.
honestly, I was so impressed. Now,
No, I did really well. I was really proud of myself, and it was hard. It's nerve wracking to be in front of, like, I don't know how you do it. Honestly, I could not do that all the time. Like, it was so nerve wracking. I thought I was gonna die. Like, I thought I was gonna hyperventilate and die.
But you
right
did
there
it
on stage.
Now, I will say this: the result doesn't matter because you got the confidence to get in front of people and sing.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't win,
No,
but
I
you took
didn't.
second.
I took second. Yeah.
You took second. In
I
a
still think
karaoke.
it was rigged.
But you took second in a karaoke contest. I think it's awesome. And I
Yeah.
actually find a lot more joy in that because, I feel like singing is something I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But you to do that, to have the confidence to get up there and do that, not just sing, but also to rap and to do it
Yeah.
and to get into a contest, let alone that. And I actually think you didn't just do that one. You did another one too. Because I remember with Mike, you did the
I did the
duet.
Nelly Furtado one.
No, that was a solo.
Yeah.
You did I'm Real.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And we actually
Wait,
played
we did
it.
that with Mike?
You did that with Mike.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that one.
Yeah. You used to get up and sing.
But I used to sing that song with Mike all the time. So.
And you also, what was your other song? Nelly Furtado, I'm
Nelly
Like a
Fur-
Bird.
Yeah, I'm like a bird. I'm like a bird. I'm like a bird. Right. There you go, Norm. That's as
There
much
it
as you're
is.
gonna
Hot
get.
take.
That's
Yeah.
it.
No, but honestly, after that, I was so impressed by it. Not just because you got up and you did it, but the fact that you were willing to get out of your comfort zone. And I actually had that down in my notes. That's something that I want to mention as we kind of talk about these stories. It's one of the things that impresses me about you, that you help to get me out of my shell. Even though in some of these ways it's going to sound like I got you out of your shell.
Yeah.
I think you had such a great foundation growing up, lots of love, great family, all that stuff, that when it comes time for you to step up, you have no problem. Even though you're not jumping up to get out of your comfort zone, when you actually do it, you excel at it. Where like with me, I can struggle with that stuff sometimes. And in fact, you actually are a thrill seeker. By nature, you're the person that likes to get on roller coasters, and I'm not.
Yeah.
You have no problem getting outside of your comfort zone. You just need a push. We actually say when we talk to people in relationships, I'm the opener.
Yeah.
I'm the icebreaker.
I'm the maintainer.
You're the maintainer.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give a great first impression, and then you won't hear from me for 3 weeks. She's the one that's like, we need to have a follow up. Let's schedule some time to get together. Let's go out for drinks. She does that because, like, for me, it's just personalities and how we are. Like, you're not the icebreaker.
Yeah, because you're not by nature like outgoing like that. Like you're outgoing. Like everybody always like, oh, Gabi's like, he's super outgoing. And I'm like, no, you know what? He'd rather just be sitting on the couch, like watching TV by himself.
Not so much
and
TV,
nobody,
but
you just in general, like you'd rather be like, you know, hanging out at home than going out. And people are like, what? I don't get that. I don't see that in him at all. And I'm like, that's not who he is.
I am actually more, so I feel like I have introvert, extrovert. It's not 100% one way. I think I'm probably 70% extrovert now, 30% introvert. But for a long time when I went through those weight struggles, I was 100%. I was 100% introvert.
I remember there was
anyone.
a long time where when you were heavier that I'd go places by myself all the time.
Yeah.
And everybody would be like, why isn't Gabi here? How come he didn't come with you? Blah, blah. I'm like, he wasn't, you know, I'd have to like make stuff up just because I didn't want to be like, oh, he just didn't want to come.
Part of it too was, you know, we're going to talk about the DJ journey, I'm with the DJ. But I had kind of done it. I had a run there for a couple years where it was like every night we were doing shows. I'd get home 5 a.m, you know, and then you're out at the bar. So you're drinking and you're having fun and you're doing all that.
There was like a whole year that you were like Tuesday through Sunday.
Yeah. I had like one day off a week and we were out every single night. And so living that life and doing it, and I kind of got burnt out on it. So I kind of got to that point where I'm like, I'm kind of done. I'm like, I'm good. I was working and, you know, putting hours in during the day. And I'm like, I didn't really want to do it. But those days are over.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I came out of my shell and I attribute a lot of that to you. So you came into your own. We talked about your time in like when you were younger, pre-Bino. Yeah, you talked about us meeting. And so around the time that we met, I had moved back home. I was still dabbling and doing some stuff in the music business, but then I started to DJ and started to do karaoke. I was the karaoke jockey. Kelly's was like the mecca for us. That was our spot in Forest Park. I'm telling you, Kelly's in Forest Park, for anybody that's ever been there, and the time that we were there was some of the best times in my life.
Honestly, if you talk to anybody that went to Kelly's, they're going to tell you that they have, like, their most memorable things happen at that place. Yeah. Like, I know most of my memorable things happen there. Like, Gabi used to sneak us in the back door. Like, I remember on my 21st birthday walking through the front door for the first time, and they were like, you weren't 21 this whole time? Like, I'd been going there for years.
I'm sending a shout out to Rich and Marianne Barger.
Who are
Rich and Marianne Barger, amazing, awesome
people,
Barger family. You guys are great.
Yeah.
But Kelly's was such an amazing time, and we had so many fun memories there.
Oh my God, that place was awesome. We were there every Saturday.
We actually did 3 nights a week. We did Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday was the big night. It was back when karaoke was a little more popular, and we were one of the few places that actually did karaoke on a Saturday night. Most places won't do it on a Saturday. They do like dance music. We would play dance music, but we would do that too. Yeah. So many fun times.
Well, you guys would do the karaoke and then you'd switch over to the dance stuff like later. I think you stopped karaoke at like midnight and then you guys would do the dance stuff after that.
At certain point people want to dance and they don't want to do all that, but you were always supportive. You were the prototypical
That was not an easy
DJ's girlfriend.
Yeah, that was not an easy time.
Why not? It should be fun, right?
No, it's not fun.
Why is it not fun?
Well, if you have a husband or boyfriend or whatever that's a DJ, it sucks. Like you're out there all the time. There's all these girls around all the time. It's not easy to like just sit back and like constantly watch like girls hit on you one right after another, or try to give you their number, or, you know. But then like the late nights,
there weren't numbers; they were song requests.
Bullshit. We're full of shit.
They were song requests. They wanted to sing. Yeah. That's all it was. They wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get a drink.
Yeah. So no, that was it. Actually, like a lot of those nights sucked for me because I would be at home and I'm like, okay, what's he doing? Who's he with? Why? You know, he's out so late every single night. That was a struggle for us. Like that was really hard for me.
Yeah. And hey, look, that's what I was doing at that time. That's how I was supporting myself. There was a time where that's how I made money. I didn't do anything else. And but I will say this, on the flip side of that, even though it was tough, I will say this: it's not as conducive.
It's not
a
good
committed.
For
I commend.
It's not.
We had Angelo on, and you know he's committed, and he's a DJ. And it's tough, but it's not for everybody. It's not conducive to that.
No, it's not for everybody. And like you do have to be like a really strong-minded person to be able to do that. Like I commend Angelo's wife. Like that's awesome that she can do that. I am not that girl. I am like the most jealous person on the planet, and I will like if a girl looks at him sideways, I'm like, keep your eyes off.
So we actually just, I mean, we've been together this long. Like just last night we were out impromptu. I went up on stage. You still having those thoughts? Did you want to stab?
No, actually,
did you want to stab someone last night?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
So you changed?
Maybe no.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you changed.
Or maybe nobody was checking you out.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I lost my magic. But you or
maybe I just didn't notice because I was having so much fun. But maybe, no, I didn't. Maybe
that's
get
the point.
Feeling.
Maybe you just enjoy.
Yeah, I was enjoying the moment, and I don't think I was looking for it. I think back then I was looking for it because I knew it was there.
Right.
Like now, I don't think I would look for it because it just wouldn't care anymore. You know.
Yeah.
But.
Well, trust is important in a relationship.
Trust, yes.
You got to have trust.
Yeah.
Right. And everything is a choice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you choose to trust someone, put it out there, and you know whatever happens, right?
Yeah.
Right. But hey, you were also very supportive. I remember we used to have the books for music and karaoke.
Oh,
You'd put the books on all the tables.
Yeah.
Back then, I DJ'd.
I would collect the song requests.
Yeah. She would go out, talk to people. She'd say hi to everyone. People, hey, what's up, Kristina?
Yeah.
But they didn't know you by Kristina. I think they called you K-Lo.
Yeah. For a while.
Why was K-Lo your nickname? Who gave you the nickname K-Lo?
Oh God,
not J-Lo, but
no.
K-Lo.
When I used to work at the Holiday Inn, so I finished working the restaurant, and when I got old enough, I was able to work in the bar. And so when I started working in the bar, I think his name was Joel. And Q. Q and Joel.
What's up, Q?
Yeah,
where you at, man?
Yeah, Q and Joel gave me that name. They called me K-Lo because they said I look like J-Lo. I don't, but that was nice of them to say that.
Yeah. But you say hi to everyone. You put out the songbooks. Yeah. Back then I had the DJ. I had CDs. She would clean the CDs, put them in the sleeves. Very supportive.
Wrap up the wires.
It was a family affair.
Let you use my car to lug all your crap around.
So we dated for a year. We always talk about this. We didn't argue for a year.
For a whole year.
We didn't have an argument for the first year we dated.
Yeah.
And then we moved in together.
And then it was all over.
You know what? I will say, and I know some people would disagree. This is my opinion. Call it what you want. But I do think you kind of have to dip your toes in the water of cohabitating a little bit with someone to see whether or not, because people kind of give you like what they want you to see when you're dating.
Yeah.
And when you are living together,
you see a different side.
Yeah, you see that this dude has wore the same drawers all week. Or you see like, the bad habits, the other side of it, or whatever, like, man, you used to make fun of me because I had these shorts that had such a big hole in the back. I used to wear them, watch football.
So it was those shorts and that bucket hat.
Like, it was a big bucket hat, dude. Yeah.
Like these shorts were disgusting. Like they had like a huge
Come on,
hole.
You don't have a pair of granny panties?
What?
I'm just saying, like everybody got some hot take. What I'm saying is, did I just put it out there? Hey, you put me on blast. I'm gonna put you on blast.
Wow, you said it. I didn't say it.
Everybody got something.
You said it.
That piece of clothing that they wear that means something to them. I had my football shorts that had a hole, but I was comfortable in them.
It was not a hole. It was like they were falling apart. Like literally the entire crotch area was like, there was like a hole, like a big, huge hole. There was nothing holding it together.
I wasn't putting
if he had no underwear on, he could sit down and go to the bathroom and not have to take his shorts off. That's how big the hole was.
I mean, she kind of figured it out. She kind of figured it out. But look, we're talking about the fun stuff, but like all that stuff, you get also too seeing people first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, like people don't look the same when you see them out at the club and then you see them the next morning.
That's true.
Right?
I always look the same.
Yeah. But then we moved in together and all that stuff. And so got our first apartment. I remember that we lived in Oak Park.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to live in Oak Park so bad. I'm like, that's where the cool people live. Let's go to Oak Park.
Yeah.
And then we moved in.
We lived there for a year, but then we moved to Forest Park.
Yep.
For another year.
2 years, I think, for Forest Park.
Forest Park was, I think it was like a year, and then we broke up, and then I moved home, and you stayed there.
Yeah.
And then you moved out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without going too deep into it, we did have a couple months where we actually had a break.
Yeah.
Early on.
We took a break.
We
were on a break.
Honestly. That's my fault.
So I don't know if it was anybody's fault. Like, I think that we just had different ideas of where we wanted to be at that moment in life. And
I would say
I was prepared to just deal with it, but Gabi was like, I'm not dealing with this. So he actually, he broke up with me.
I did.
He did.
But it didn't last long. Kristina was on a mission. She came back to get her man. But we had a couple months where, like, I would sum it up very easily and say I was a experienced in the world 23-year-old, and she was
I was still learning a lot. I had never been on my own.
You know, we're talking about like bills and like doing something, and let's just say it like that. And so it wasn't about like the infidelity and all that. It was just about
nobody cheated.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It was just that we just were in different places, and she wasn't there and wasn't ready yet, and I was like trying to get things together or whatever. Yeah. I'll just say it like that. But we had a couple months.
I think it was because I was trying to be like, I had never been on my own. I was like, I got my own place. I want to party. I want to hang out. Like, when I hang out with my friends, I want to go out. And Gabi was like, I already did all that stuff. I don't want to do that anymore. And so we were just on different levels of where we wanted to be at. And he was still DJing. So I was like, I didn't understand, like, you're still doing this. So what's the difference between what I want to do and what you want to do? Mm-hmm. So it made it difficult.
So then we were.
Oh, Norm looks like he has a question.
I'm sure he's got some questions there, but okay. So, all right. So we talked about the DJ thing and a little bit about our personal life and all that, but I do want to ask you, I have shared about my musical journey, not the DJ and stuff, because that was kind of how I kept the pilot light lit.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trying to be a DJ growing up. It's just what I fell into and found a way to gravitate towards music, but singing, right?
Yeah.
Singing on stage and being an artist and a musician, like, when I moved back home, I was kind of on the downside of that a little bit, but you did see some elements of that. You saw me do some performances. I did join a boy band.
Yeah, you were in that boy
during
band.
During our time together, I was in a boy band.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not
that was interesting.
It wasn't a great experience. I was forcing it.
I actually was pretty excited about it because I was like, "Oh, he's in a boy band.
Oh, I remember we did.
He's gonna get like popular.
We did
and,
a fest.
We're gonna make he's gonna bring in some money." But then slowly realized it was not that great. And then I realized he really didn't like it because he would go and do shows. I remember it was so funny though, because he would do like these teen shows, like these teenagers that wanted these guys to come sing for them. And I would get like so jealous because I was like, okay, all these girls, you're hanging around all these. He's like, they're teenagers. Like, you realize like I'm like an adult. Like that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't care because I didn't know. And like I said, I'm like the most jealous person. So I was like, I don't like it. I don't like that you're doing these shows. I don't like you're going to these houses. Like I didn't like it.
Yeah, I remember one time. So I was in this boy band, and they did like meet and greets where we would go to like fans' houses, the whole band, and like we'd meet their friends and answer questions.
Just a bunch of girls.
You're just acting. You're acting as if you're trying to get on, and so people are asking.
I get it.
I remember one time we went to this one fan's house, and her parents were there. I mean, these are like.
They were
13
like
or 12,
yeah.
maybe even younger, seriously, like younger. And then I had an apartment. I had a girlfriend, like it's like, and I was grown, and I'm sitting there with these guys, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, this is not me, And I'm grateful for the experience. The guys were great.
It was cool,
But to see that, I remember we did a fest, and I remember we got pictures where,
my dad
and we'll put them up when we edit it.
out.
Norm, remember, I'll give you the pictures, like. Your mom came out, your dad came out, your aunt came out. It was a fest we did.
Like our whole
it was like
my
Schiller
whole family
Park.
went.
It was like a Schiller
cool.
Park Fest or something.
Yeah, it was Schiller Park.
Was?
Yeah.
It was Onesti Productions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, and I remember that was awesome. So you got to see it firsthand, and then I started to do some other things in the side, and you saw that. So you're like, man. So let me ask you this, and we've talked about it, but just to kind of do it for the camera, what did you think when you saw not me DJing, but like really trying to get a record deal and trying to like sing and do this for a living? Like that's not what you signed up for. And I didn't sell you on that when I met you. I didn't try to meet you and say I'm a singer.
No, but
date me because I sing. I didn't do that.
It's not what I signed up for, but I know that it was important to you, and I know that you really enjoyed singing, and I know that that's what you really wanted.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted it for you. I think that we're just who we are as people, it just wasn't gonna work for us. It just wasn't the road that we were meant to go down.
Yeah, well, I think the traditional way and the way that I talk about, you sometimes don't always have the control that you want to have.
Yeah.
When you're trying to get on, sometimes it's like a Noah's Ark situation. Like, yeah, we'll take you, but you can't bring anyone with you.
Yeah.
It's like when I had producers, I remember getting pitched to a label, and the label was like, yeah, we like you, but the songs are whack, and we think we got better producers we want to put you with.
Yeah.
So we'll take you, but you got to leave your whole crew behind. And I wasn't about to do that. So can you imagine in a relationship, what if I had said, hey, Columbia wants to sign me. I got to move to California. You coming with me?
No.
You wouldn't have came.
Nope.
Wouldn't have happened.
Sure wouldn't have.
Right?
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember, and I talked about this in another episode, I promised if people asked, we would talk about this.
American Idol?
One of the last things I did when I was really trying
Yes.
I'm going to sing and get out there and put myself out there is I tried out for American Idol, and you came with me.
It
We
was
went to
awful.
Ohio, and I talked about it in another episode.
Yeah.
Clearly, I didn't get on
Yeah. Next.
the show. 9:00 next.
Oh God, that was awful. So like the drive to Ohio was, I remember, just long. It was like 6 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. And I think we were in your mom's van. I don't think she had air. It was so hot. And then we get there, and there's like thousands of people everywhere. And like it's just so crowded, and it's like hot out, but like everybody, like the energy was so cool. Like I did like the energy there. Like everybody was amazing. Like, everybody's trying to get a record deal. Like they want to be on American Idol. They want to be singers, they want to be stars. Like it was awesome. But then like the stuff that they put you through to just audition was grueling. I remember we had to stand in line. I remember we had like water bottles. We had like those chairs, like those folding chairs. We get to the front of the line, and they're like, you can't take those chairs in. And we're like, what? Yeah. So everybody was tossing their chairs in the trash can. Literally like hundreds of these like folding chairs. The chairs you sit on to like go watch a game? Hundreds of them, because they wouldn't let you take them in after they had told you in the beginning that you can take them. So we had to toss these, and I think they were his mom's. I think she was really pissed at us that we tossed him in the trash. Like she was so mad. But I was like, what am I going to do? If we get out of line, we're going to have to get at the back of the line, and now we're going to be here even longer. So I'm tossing this. I think somebody tossed a camera, because you can take cameras.
Yes,
in
I saw
there.
someone toss like a video
somebody
camera.
tossed like
'cause
a
they
video
wouldn't-
camera.
You had to get out of line, or
Like
you had
there
to throw
was
it away
all
and go
kinds
in.
of rules. Like you couldn't take all of these things in, but like everybody had them, because you're camping out in line. You're waiting in this line for, and when I say hours, like it was all day long.
Right.
And then to get in the stadium was probably my favorite part of it, because everybody's like kind of singing and like hanging out, and you hear these people like singing and how good they are, like, and like how passionate they are about trying to be on the show. Like it was so. I remember there was this girl who was sitting a couple rows behind us, and she was just singing her heart out. She was amazing. I was like, oh, she's definitely getting on. Like she's so freaking good. Like I told Gabby, I was like, she's way better than you. And he was like, gee, thanks. And I was like, no, seriously, like this girl's amazing. She didn't get on.
I don't remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
I blocked it out. It was painful.
But she didn't get on. So that's why it was like kind of like super fun. And I remember when we came back, when we left there, I was like, I'll never watch American Idol again, ever. And I never have.
She boycotted it.
I just stopped watching
so
it because it was
salty.
so awful. It was
I got
awful.
2 notes. I got up there like, okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Go. I was like, 9:00 next.
Yeah. It was bad. No, I was in the stadium, and then so when he went, you have to like walk to the other side to wait for him to come out. And so I was waiting for him, and he came back so fast, and I was like, what's going on? He's like, I'm done. They said no.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I cried because I was so like heartbroken for him because he wanted it so bad. And like, you know, he was getting older. So like this was like his last chance. So
Yeah.
It
So then
sucked.
we closed the book on that.
Yeah.
We left there, and like I said,
and then
okay.
2 weeks later,
2 weeks later,
I was pregnant.
she was pregnant with our son.
Yeah. I mean, I clearly was pregnant while I was there, and I just didn't know it, which is probably why I was so miserable because it was like 100 degrees.
Yeah. So then we
So.
started a family, and then
Yeah.
things started to change from there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we get into family life, right? So we
Yeah.
put that behind. I actually gave up my DJ career.
Yes.
That
Oh,
was-
as soon as we had Mateo, I was like, that's it. You're done.
Yep.
Because I
She
can't.
put the
I
smack
can't be
down.
sitting at home with a kid while you're out DJing till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and I don't know where you're at, and I'm not there, and I can't be there because we have a kid.
Yep.
So it said you got to choose. It's us or it's that.
Yeah. Clearly, I made my choice. I made the right choice.
Yeah.
And I did try to go back and dabble, but it was years later because it was
Yeah.
like good money. And then I was like the old guy DJ, and I didn't know any of the songs.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember them coming up like, hey, man,
Yeah.
you know this one? I'm like,
No.
no, I don't know that song.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I was out of touch. That's the worst
Yeah.
feeling in the world when you're the DJ and you're playing all the old songs. Mambo number 5.
Or when you're the DJ and you don't know anything about DJing. Because I did that.
Oh,
so-
yeah. So
Yeah,
during the time
so
of DJing, you actually had a DJ.
Him and his buddy had went out of town for something. He just went to Texas, right? Oh, Texas Justice. Oh, you got to remember to talk about that with him like another day. That's a whole nother story, but talk about Texas Justice.
What-
Yeah, you know those.
You know what? We're gonna-
you know those judge shows on TV, like Judge Judy. It's like that, and he was on it.
You know what? Well, let's just tell the story. But first, before we talk about Texas Justice,
Okay,
let's go ahead and
so-
talk about you
Yeah,
DJing.
so Gabi was he was in Texas, him and Mike,
Mhm.
and so Mike's girlfriend and I had to cover a show for him because they have this gig, and you know it's a paying gig, and they do it every week. And he's like, we need you guys to cover it. And so Mike's girlfriend and I packed up all the equipment. We get to this place, nothing's working. Like, and I know how to set the equipment up. Like by now, I had been with him forever. I could set that stuff up in my sleep. But nothing was working. And we don't know what we're doing. We're like, what's going on? What do we do? So we call them, and these guys I think they were like drunk. They were at like some bar, and they were no help at all. So like we're struggling to like get this show started for them, and they're out like getting wasted in Texas. And so we finally figured out, but we're DJing, and like, we're just playing CDs, and people are singing, they're doing karaoke. But like just everything that could go wrong went wrong for us, and it was the most awful
I
experience
remember giving
of
tech
my
support
life.
to her over the phone. I'm like, see that wire there?
Oh,
That's an 1/8 inch
yeah.
adapter. We're going to put that on the end, plug
It
it
was
in.
so bad.
Now check the left speaker, check the right one.
Yeah.
But you did the show.
Yeah, we
and
did.
that's
the show.
when
yeah.
DJ Sassy was
DJ
invented.
Sassy.
That's another nickname you had, DJ Sassy.
That's a nickname you gave me.
Yeah, you became a DJ that night.
Yeah, it was bad.
We popped your collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think
never
I had
wanted
you.
to DJ
There
again,
were a couple
ever.
times in a pinch. I had to have you start shows or do.
I did, or I had to go get stuff. I had to go like. I remember one time he forgot the CDs, and I had to go all the way back home. And we were like 40 minutes away, and I had to drive all the way back home, go get the CDs, and
Hey,
bring them all the way
That's
back.
what you got to do, right?
It was awful. Fun stuff.
Yeah. So, okay, so the Texas Justice thing, I'll put it out there a little
Yeah.
bit, but if I get Mike on here, I'd want him to add a little more color to it. But during the time that we were DJing, we actually had another partner, and we had a falling out, we had a disagreement, and there was some money involved. And so we had, let's just say, some.
So when you get sued, like in like small claims court, like when you goes to the courthouse, what they do is they actually send them if they're like under $1,000 or under 1,500.
Small claims court.
Small claims. So they send your stuff to these TV shows, like without you asking. They send them, because then what happens is if you go on this show, they pay you, and then if you lose, they pay the other person whatever you owe them for you. So you don't have to pay it. You just have to go on TV and embarrass yourself, which they did.
Yeah.
And they
Nice.
did it really. And actually, I'm pretty sure my grandpa has, like, I have an old VHS tape
Oh, we got it. We
that my
definitely have it.
grandpa recorded when they were on the show. Like, my grandpa waited until the show came on and he recorded them.
So we were on the show Texas
Yes.
Justice, which is basically like a poor man's Judge Judy.
Yeah.
It was only on for a couple years. We went on and we lost. And so we had our partner took us on there, but we were in Houston
Yeah.
to go on this show. And the night before we went to a Korean karaoke bar and we
Got wasted.
got wasted. And, but yeah, so we were out of town. We never missed. Honestly, that's crazy. Like for that stretch, maybe 4 or 5 years, I worked every single Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I worked, you work when everyone else plays. That
Yeah.
was rough. But the good thing is like we were out there having fun while we were doing it,
For sure.
So that was the DJ time.
Yeah.
That was the music time. We've had little dabbles here or there.
Yeah.
But then parenthood starts,
Yeah.
right? We start raising kids, and then we had our daughter. Yeah. We got married. We had a beautiful wedding,
We did.
right? We got married at the Patrick Haley Mansion in Elgin,
Joliet.
in Joliet.
Total
Fact
opposite
check.
direction.
Huh?
Total opposite direction.
Yeah,
Yeah, Elgin's
Oh.
that way, Joliet's that way.
you're right. It is Joliet.
I'm well aware where we are.
Anyways, yeah, Patrick Haley Mansion.
Yeah.
That was a great day.
It was. Mateo was 1. He got to be a ring bearer, so that was cool. Isabel wasn't born yet, unfortunately, so
Yeah,
she missed out on that fun time.
yeah.
Sorry, Pooks.
But okay, so the music thing aside, and back to us, and so settling into our careers, you were working. You started to work in the legal field.
Yeah, I started. Oh no, I actually started legal field when I was like 24, maybe like right before I had Mateo.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So we
Yeah.
were both working. You were doing that, and I was working
Yeah.
in management, and so
Yeah.
earning my stripes and doing all that. And so we start putting that time in, right?
Yeah.
And so this is something
Doing
that's
the
important.
parent thing.
The parent thing, but also
Yeah.
too, and this is something we've talked about that I think helps us out in being a power couple or
Yeah.
a strong couple is knowing who we are.
Yeah.
And when you become a parent,
I do feel like when you become a parent, you lose yourself. Like you forget who you are because you're like, oh, I'm a parent now, so I can't do that or I can't do this. Like I have to be like this perfect mold of a parent. Like Gabi always makes fun of me because he's like, you just went totally mom mode. He's like, you were wearing the mom jeans, like the mom clothes. Like
she's
he's like,
rocking
you were
mom
just
jeans hard. Mom jeans.
like he's like, you were mom like to the max.
Yeah,
because
you
I
had,
thought like
shoulder pads.
I had like this image that I needed to create because I was a mom and like, oh, mom shouldn't do that or mom. And now I'm like, no, that's not who I am. Like, I don't want my kids to think that, when they get older that they have to live a certain way because society tells them that they have to live that way. So like, it took me a long time, but
Yeah. Same thing with me. I look
Yeah.
back at pictures with me and I I don't know. I wear glasses, but I don't have to wear them all the time. I was like wearing like glasses and
he was like, oh, I got to go
Suit-
get my eyes checked now.
yeah, like
I'm a dad.
I'm
I got to wear
dad.
glasses.
Yeah. Had the khakis,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
wearing
God,
khakis.
the khaki and the checkered shirts,
checkered shirts.
the button ups. Oh, they were awful.
This I thought I had to do, right? But then we started to kind of get back to who we were.
Yeah.
For you, it was sooner than me. You started to kind of go out and you started to play softball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Softball definitely.
Yeah,
like,
so part of your identity is you love playing
I do.
softball.
I
mean,
love
this chick
playing
plays
softball.
like in the summertime, like 3 leagues, 3 nights a week playing softball. She'll drive all
I
over.
would play 3 nights. I don't, but I would if I didn't have adult responsibilities. But yeah, I do. I would play every day if I could. I just like it that much.
Yeah,
I'm not like amazing at it, but I don't suck. So I just like playing.
yeah.
It's my thing.
You love
it's my
softball.
jam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can tell when you play it, like it's something that, and I think you're good at it, especially now that you also do CrossFit, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about. But I do think that you can like doing something and not necessarily. It's not whether or not you're good at it.
Right.
You
You don't
know?
have to be amazing at it. You could just
It's
be
not
decent.
a chore. And I would say
Yeah.
like singing for me, there's times where I don't want to sing, and I told you.
Yeah.
Like yesterday we
Oh,
went out.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yesterday we
you
went
didn't
out.
want
There
to.
was a time before I'm like, I don't know if I really even want to go. Like,
Yeah,
I was just not
yesterday I
feeling it.
think like an hour before we were getting ready, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really want to go." I was like, "No, you're going."
Now clearly
We're
it
going.
wasn't a chore when I ended up going, and I didn't know I
Yeah.
was going to sing, and we sang. But like for you, when I go out, I've never watched you play softball where it was like a chore where you're just going through the motions. Like
No.
you love doing
No,
it.
I just love doing it.
And
yeah.
and I would say that's another thing.
I
that
do get
love.
nervous sometimes, like depending on the teams that we play, because some of the teams in our leagues are really good.
Yeah,
I do get nervous.
Yeah.
So like I would get like scared. I'm like, okay, if I don't hit the ball or if I don't catch the ball, like I get like really scared. But
Yeah.
generally, I I just like it so much it doesn't even bother me.
So
like,
this
it's
is
easy.
we're gonna stop the presses on talking about softball and talk about something that made me think of it through softball. The look in your eye when you play softball, I love it. I know being with you this long when something really makes you happy.
Yeah.
We talk about this, when we go out to dinner and we talk and have these conversations. We love to see the other person be happy.
Yeah.
The look in their eye when they're happy.
Yeah.
Like when
We
you
do
love
talk
someone,
about that all the
like
time.
when you eat,
Yeah.
when your significant other eats something and they
Yeah.
love it and they eat their favorite dish, or you go to your favorite pizza place and you see them eat it, and when you see the look on their face when they're happy, and it makes you happy because they're happy. That's
Yeah.
how you know you're with
And we
someone
talk about that
serious.
with the kids too, like when they do stuff that like we know that they really like, and we're like, like it's just like
Yeah.
that, like, man, that's amazing.
So
Like,
when
that's a
you
great
play
feeling.
softball and you have a good play, or you're proud of something, you get a good hit, or you
Yeah.
make a good play or something, you come back and I see the look in your eye, and I could see like no one else knows you the way I know you, how excited you are from that. And you're
Yeah.
on this high, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be a good feeling.
it is. I mean, I love it though. So it's, even if I sucked that day, I still get super excited about it.
Yeah, and you have a lot of friends too. Like you've built relationships with people because of softball.
Yeah, I do. I have some really good friends from softball. Like it's really amazing.
Yeah. Now you were playing softball at the time, and you weren't necessarily working out or doing anything like that. When I met you, you weren't like a gym rat.
So I actually started playing softball through Kelly's. That's how I started playing, because I didn't play in high school. I was never like I was, like I said, I was a cheerleader. I ran track. I wasn't very good at track either. I was a gymnast. Wasn't good at that. But then when we'd go to Kelly's, one of the girls had asked me to play on their team, like just a sub, because they needed like a body. And I was like, listen, I don't know anything about softball. I played one time when I was like 7, and my dad and I were playing catch, and he hit me in the face, and I never played again. So I was like, I'm probably not good. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And so she's like, well, just come out and like, we'll teach you, whatever. And I ended up playing with that team for like 6 years. We were called Rectum.
Wrecked.
Rectum.
Wrecked them.
Wrecked them. You know, rectum.
It's a
Not
very
rectum,
creative name.
But yes, Rectum.
We have a studio audience, by
Yeah,
the way. We have
yeah.
your first ever studio audience.
You already said that.
Thank you, producer. But so you are now a ringer where people actually call you up to be on their team. Like, it's not like they say, hey, we need another girl. All right, well, Kristina, can she play? Like, now people know you. Like, you're consistent. You always show up.
Yeah, I always
you
show
never
up.
no
And
show.
I think that's really the real reason why people call
Because
me
you're a
to
good
play.
person. They just know
is
that you're
because
gonna...
I never, like, I don't miss games. Like, I'll miss a birthday party before I'll miss a softball game.
That's how you met Angelo.
That's how I met Angelo. Yeah,
Angelo,
yeah.
softball.
Yeah, he made me
You
try
had
out for his team.
You tried out for his team.
I
and
did.
Made the
I
cut.
made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pitched for his team for a long time.
Yep.
So like after that team with Kelly's, that was like 5 or 6 years. And then we played on Ball Busters for like 6 more years after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Angelo quit or retired or something.
So think about this, and we're jumping ahead because we talked about parenthood and all that. Like, you're doing softball, you love it.
Yeah.
And now our daughter plays softball.
Yeah, and she loves it, and she's good.
So do you think she would have played if she didn't see you play first?
Oh God, I don't know. Maybe.
You influenced her.
Isabel.
Influence? Yeah, influence.
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
Because then, like, where would she have seen it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how would she have known that she even had an interest in it? No, I'm not taking credit for her to do it, but yeah, like if she never saw it, like, why would she want to do it? Just like with CrossFit, like she does CrossFit too, but that's because of us.
Right. So I started doing CrossFit.
Yep, and then
and then you joined.
Oh yeah, I joined.
Yeah.
Not by choice.
Yeah.
But now I go more than you.
But yeah, so
keeping it real.
No, I do. Right?
We'll come back to that. So we were talking about like when
comfortable, honey?
No, I'm totally good with that. We're gonna get there. But I wanted to talk about like when you love someone, you know, when you see them happy, you see that look in their eye. You know, whether it's something that they eat or something that they like to do, a place that they like to go. You know, you just feel good.
Yeah.
You know, you see that look in their eye.
Yeah.
Like if you I don't know. You just get to know someone. You get to know like how they act when they're really, really happy. Right. And you found part of your identity like through softball, just being a competitor.
Yeah.
You are so competitive.
I am.
I don't like to lose.
I don't like to lose at
but
all.
I will I'm the rationalizer. I'll rationalize like it's just softball. It's just a game. It's just pickup game. It's fine. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. You're not that person.
No.
You will take out the catcher at the plate in a practice game. Yeah. Why are you so competitive?
Because I don't like to lose. I don't know.
So
you don't feel that way? Like when you're singing and like you hear somebody else sing and you're like, oh, I'm better than that guy.
Yeah, I'll admit.
Same thing.
Okay. But is it that you like to win or you hate to lose?
I just really like to win.
Yeah?
And I
You
don't
just
like
like
to
win,
lose.
but you hate losing.
I hate losing.
Yeah? Are you a bad loser?
I am a bad loser. Very bad.
Yeah?
Yeah. So are our kids. They're pretty bad. Isabel's probably the worst.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see that. When
Yeah,
you see your
Mateo is
kids-
actually really good at losing. He'll come over and he'll be like, good game. He'll shake your hand.
I taught him
Yeah.
when you lose, GG,
Yeah,
good game,
GG.
shake hands.
Yeah. He'll do it to
Always.
Isabel and she'll be like,
Not going to happen. She'll shake hands, but she
yeah,
gives you the
she
look in
doesn't
her
like
face
it.
like.
She got this stank face. Like that stank face right now. But yeah, no, I just don't like to lose. I don't know. I don't know if it's, I don't even know where I got it from, to be honest with you. Cause like my parents didn't do a ton of, my dad plays softball. I remember we would go watch him play softball, but I don't remember him being competitive. Like I don't remember him getting angry if he lost. So
Is your brother like that?
no, not really.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Your sister?
No, she doesn't.
Where did
Missy
you get,
doesn't play any sports.
Where did you get your competitive gene from? Or did you just, is it just something you had? You didn't know, you don't always have to get it from someone.
I don't know. I know like a lot of our family, like Uncle Ikey was super into sports. He's super competitive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the rest of our family members who do things or did play sport. I don't know. Uncle Ikey's the only one I can think of that is probably as competitive as I am because he doesn't like to lose either.
Right.
I don't know where it came from.
That's all right. Hey, however you got there, you're there. And this is
Yeah.
what I can say, bringing it back around to us as a couple, is, you know the yin yang philosophy.
Yeah.
Right? Opposites attract.
Yeah.
And I know that you can be in a successful relationship and not necessarily be opposites attract, but this is where, like, even though I am competitive, I almost have to kind of get hit in the face to be competitive. Like, I'll just kind of rationalize it. But we're opposites in a lot of ways, and it works for us.
Yeah.
Like, you're more competitive than I am, right? You're more the fight, I'm the flight. You're the roller coaster dude, and I'll wait for you when you get off type of guy. Not that I'm afraid. I ain't no punk bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown-ass man. I'll get on the roller coaster. But if by choice and there's someone else with us, they can go with you, and I'll get the drinks.
Well,
when you
it's
get
just
off.
why we just don't go with you. Like Isabel and I just go by ourselves now.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time.
And that's another thing, too. Acceptance. You
Yeah.
accept that.
No,
You don't
I accept
push
that.
me.
Like, I'm not going to make you do something that you want to do. So I'm not going to make you go and spend all day at an amusement park when I know you're not going to get on any of the rides and you're going to be miserable. And then you're going to make, then we're not going to have a good time because you're not having a good time.
We do that a lot in our relationship where we're at that point now where we accept there's certain things that the other person just doesn't like.
Yeah.
We're okay with it.
And yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally cool.
You
with
have
it.
to have I think you have to have that in a relationship to be, because I think early on you want them to like what you like. You want them to do what you do.
So I remember that I tried to get you to play softball with me. Like,
that was not good.
Is he good?
oh my God, no, he's so
Yeah,
bad.
I'm a ringer. What?
Okay,
Tell them how you really feel.
I'm gonna tell you, Gabi is the only person that I know that trips over first base.
No, you say it. No, wait one damn minute. Wait 1 minute. You say it like trips, like it's a thing I do.
It
like
is
I
because
stutter.
no. So I remember, not last year, but the year before. Remember, we needed some people to fill in, and you had some people from your work come in,
Maybe.
and you guys all like fell in the fields, like just all over. They
But
were
it wasn't
all over
on
the place.
first base. You're making it sound like I have a
No,
problem.
you
like I
did trip
can't-
over first base. Not that day, but like back when you.
It happened one time. She's putting on a show for the camera.
I'm not.
I was running. You ever try to run faster than your legs can go? Like I was just trying to beat the throw, and I mistimed my foot, and the front hit, and I was a little fluffier then. I was 300 plus. I was 3 bills easy, and I jammed my shoulder. I landed so
he
hard.
did. I thought he broke his.
You ever see an injury where like you're like want to laugh because they fell, but then you're like they're hurt?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen you
they
do
were
it a couple times.
Yeah, and I got up and they're like laughing. They're like, Are you all right?
Ooh, crap.
Yeah, so I don't know. Softball's not my thing.
Yeah, it's not his
I
thing.
also, I like sports. I like watching. It's just not my jam.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's your jam.
It is.
If
yeah.
you need a fill in,
But that was my point. Is
and
like,
no one else will
is
answer,
like
I'll come.
I tried to get you to play with us because I wanted you to like be like do that with me. And then once I realized, I was just like, this is not his thing. I'm not gonna make him do this anymore. Like this is dumb.
Yeah.
So I was like, just it's cool. You don't have to.
And
do
there's
it
a lot of
anymore.
examples, and not all of them are coming to mind, but in our relationship, in our marriage, like where we just realized, look, I know how you are. I know like what you don't like. There's things that we don't even present to each other because like, look, she's not gonna like that.
Because there's no point.
And instead of us fighting or like resenting and being like, oh, how come you can't be
now
like
now
this
you
person?
made me do it.
How come you can't be this person that likes to do that with me? And
That's what I have friends for.
That's what we got friends for.
That's right.
Your significant other can't be everything all the time with everything.
Yeah. That's true.
You have to be a strong person.
Yeah, because then it would be like
that's codependency.
It is, and then it would be pretty boring if you were the only person that I ever talked to and hung out with. I love you, but I mean, same for you though.
Yeah, no,
like it would be.
right.
It would suck for you to hang out with me all the time and not like have anything to yourself.
Yeah, because imagine if I was that person that had nothing going on, and then you're like, I'm sitting there expecting that you have to.
That
be
I'm
my
gonna hang out
everything.
with
You gotta
you.
be there all
Yeah.
the time. Like.
Well, it's like when you go to the gym and you're like 3 hours at the gym, and you're like, you want to go to the gym with me? Nope. No desire.
No, so I go to CrossFit, but I also now sign up for a big box gym. And back in the day when I would go, I'd be there, but it was kind of like a solitude thing. Like even though I asked you to go, most of the time I go, I'm just being nice, but I'm just usually there by myself. I'm listening.
He
to
wasn't
music.
really
He
inviting
didn't
you.
really want me to go.
You ever like ask?
But that's okay because I don't want to go anyways.
Come on, don't front.
Like I
Don't
remember,
act.
I remember one time I went with him and we went and we worked out and then he was like, oh, you want to do like the hot tub sauna? I'm like, cool, let's do all this. I didn't realize like he wanted to sit in the sauna for like an hour, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. And so like I would be like sitting in the pool area waiting for him because he'd be in the sauna for like an hour. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this with you anymore. I can't. You're here too long. 3 hours is too long.
Not your jam.
No.
I like it. I put my headphones on,
Yeah.
listen to music. It's inspirational to me.
Yeah,
So-
that's your thing. That's
All
not
right,
my
so
thing.
I would invite you, knowing that you probably weren't gonna go.
Yeah.
But you never did that? Like, were you like, well, invite someone knowing they're going to say no, but you do it just to be nice, just to say, like, I invited you?
I mean, everybody does that.
Okay.
You've
So
done-
that's
you've done it,
my
right,
time. Hey, we all have our own things. So, all right, we're just going to jump ahead. So working out.
Yeah.
Okay. So like big box gym, I'll go there and do my own thing
Yeah.
on my own. You never really were a gym rat.
No,
Never did any of that stuff.
I never worked out. Period. Like until I started CrossFit.
Yeah.
Like I never so I would try to go to the so we would go like I had a membership. I've had a membership forever. We just actually recently canceled it, but I would like get motivated and I would go like hard for like a week. I was in the gym every single day for like a week. And I remember I see posts like on Facebook. I'm like, I'm in the gym. I'm doing good. And then I just would quit.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't my thing. Like I don't know. I guess I just didn't like going there by myself and working out by myself. And I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. And then once I found CrossFit, I love like going there and be like, there's a workout ready for you. Like it's
That's
ready
one of
to
the best
go.
things. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you don't have to figure out anything. You don't have to think about it. Like I do like to go to open gym every once in a while and do my own thing because there are things that I want to work on.
Mhm.
But now that I've been there long enough, I know those things that I need to work on. So
Yeah.
then I can create my own workouts and do that. But yeah, it wasn't my thing before, but now
I think
love
you've
it.
always gravitated towards being active to some degree since I've known you. Like softball, you actually, and let's talk about this because we're going to spend some time in CrossFit, trust me. But before CrossFit, you actually did a half marathon.
I did.
A half marathon.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Maybe one day I could do a half, but you did, and you trained for it. You did it with your friend.
No, I didn't really train for it.
A little bit.
I should have trained for it. I should.
You didn't do any training?
I did a little bit. So I did it with Allison, my best friend Allison. She convinced me to do a half marathon with her. And I remember she sent me the information on how you're supposed to train for a half marathon. And I was like, how hard could this be? 13 miles. I can walk and run 13 miles. That's cool.
Downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
Was it the Bank of America?
Yeah, the Bank of America half marathon. So she starts training. She's dedicated. And I'm like, yeah, I'll start like next week, whatever. And I just kept putting it off finally we get like a month before the marathon. I was like, oh, maybe I should start training now. And so I did. So I like that whole month I did like, I never got to the point where I was supposed to be at for training for a half marathon. And she was like, like she was golden. She was ready to go. And I was like, shit, you're going to have to run with this without me. And I'm like, you're going to have to go we're going to have to run by, because the intention was so that we could run it together, so that we can run and we can finish it together. But because I was such a slacker and I didn't want to train for it, I was like, you're just going to have to do it, you know, like I still ran it, but I was way behind her. Like, I think I came in like an hour after she did.
I mean, I think you won just by signing up and doing it and actually doing it. I remember that day. I remember being so scared driving downtown. I actually in the car had said a prayer because I was so nervous, because like a half marathon is long and it's intense enough.
Yeah.
That there is some legitimate danger that
there
if you don't do it right.
There were people who like I would see like passing out because, you know, it was hot. And honestly, like that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But if you weren't there, like I had you, I had my aunt and uncle who came, my parents were there. Gabi, he actually, I think it was like mile 2. He met me at mile 2. He gave me like a Gatorade or something.
No, I messed up. I learned after you're not supposed to drink like heavy sugar.
Yeah.
I gave you orange juice.
Oh, you gave me orange juice. And then
you're
he
supposed
like
to have slow carbs.
Yeah, and so then he like met me again at like another mile marker, and he was just like standing there cheering me on. Like it was amazing.
Well, you know, we talked earlier in the episode about like knowing when to defer to each other, like being in a moment, being like, "This is your time to shine."
Yeah.
That day there was no microphones. It wasn't about me. It was about you. And so honestly, and we talked about it, like it was a conscious choice that day. I'm like, I'm going to every mile marker.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure.
But
you
honestly,
have what
if
need.
you hadn't have done that, I do think that it would have been a lot harder for me to finish. Like, I don't think I would have finished it if you hadn't have done that. So like, that's goes back to like why we're good for each other. Like you knew that I was going to need that. So like you made sure that you were at those critical points in the run to help me get through it.
I was legit fear. I remember it's like in my mind a video playing of people crossing the finish line and seeing
they would
people
just like
fall out. And there
Yeah.
were medics there taking them over to the tent, and I'm waiting and I'm like, is that Chris? Is that Chris? No.
Yeah.
And then finally you got
It took
through.
me like,
You didn't fall.
I know it took me almost 4 hours to run that half marathon. You know, people run that in like an hour.
Yeah,
Like it's
so
nuts.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I remember crossing the finish line, and I remember just tears of joy. Like I was like, holy shit, I did it. You know, I did it. Like I
think
finished.
we're all emotional.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of people waiting for you at the finish line.
I did.
Who was there?
My mom, my dad, you. I think the kids were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids were there. My auntie Yoli, my uncle Mike.
Think about,
It
did
was
you ever
amazing.
think to yourself, like, who was waiting for you? Like, I got to finish. They're there for me. Like, everybody's waiting. What were you thinking when you were coming down that final stretch?
I just wanted to finish. Like, honestly, like, I wasn't thinking about, like, who was waiting for me. I was just thinking, like, man, if I don't finish this, like, this is going to, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself. Like, and the fact that I didn't take it as serious as I should have.
Mhm.
Like, it was hard. Like, I remember when I finished, my feet hurt so bad. And I remember, Auntie Yoli, because my aunt runs marathons all the time. And so she was, like, super motivating, too. And she was like, don't sit down. Just keep walking. And I was like, but my feet hurt so bad. I need to sit down. I need to take these shoes off. She's like, no. She's like, you need to keep walking, because if you sit down now, you're not going to get back up. She's like, trust me. She's like, wait till you get to the car to like take your shoes off and sit down and relax. She's like, otherwise it's going to be so bad for you. And I'm glad that she was there, because she wasn't wrong. Like the second that I took those shoes off and the second that I sat down, my whole body just like it died. I was like, I can't move. I can't do anything. Like you remember I came home and I laid on the couch and I just like laid there for like 3 hours and I didn't move. I couldn't even move. I couldn't do anything.
So, but I do, you know what I remember about that day? Everyone that ran the marathon, they got a free beer.
Yeah.
I remember that you just wanted that beer.
I did.
And this is something.
I wanted my free beer.
This is something about you just as a person too. Like as serious as you can take the situation, which is something I admire, you always are okay with like, let's just have a beer. Like craziest situation.
Yeah.
Like, let's not take it too serious. Like you have this calm, like as much as at times you say you're not as confident, we're all working on our confidence. I look to you at times like your confidence is way higher than mine because I'll stress a situation. I won't think about anything else. I can't have fun.
Yeah.
I'm serious. And then you'll do a marathon. And at the end, you're like, man, it was rough. Okay, where's my free beer?
Yeah.
Like you said, one of the highlights of when we got married, there's a picture of you with your grandpa having a beer.
Chugging a beer.
No,
we were having a chugging contest.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing.
Right.
Yeah. That was amazing.
You're fun.
That's like one of my
fun-loving.
best, that's one of my favorite pictures from our, I'm sorry, but that's like one of my favorite.
No, it's cool. No, but think about that. Like you just went through one of the hardest things in your life and you couldn't wait to have your beer because you earned it.
Yeah, I did. I earned that beer.
Right?
I earned that beer and all the others that I drank after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great accomplishment. Is that like a top 10 accomplishment?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like a top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah, that's huge. That's a huge thing. I mean, that was really hard.
Yeah.
I would never do it again.
You wouldn't try to one day do a marathon?
No, never. Nope. Never again.
I hear for people that do marathons, not like ultra marathon runners, but regular people, when they do marathons, it takes them like a month to recover.
Oh, it took me a long time to recover.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, it was rough.
My feet were not good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had I don't know if you guys want to hear this, but I had chafing in my, in between my cleavage from the sports bra and running and stuff.
Those are all the little injuries that people don't like to talk about, like CrossFit.
That
if you meet a
hurt
CrossFitter, if all you got to do is look at their hands.
Yeah.
Beat up hands. Calluses, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to CrossFit a little bit. That's fun, right? So CrossFit, talked about my journey. I turned 40, changed my life, started losing weight. 6 months later, joined CrossFit. I did it for a couple months, and I remember you being supportive of me, being like, okay, he really wants to do this, and I'm doing it. And I remember coming home, and like when you're excited about something, you want to tell everyone about it. And I would tell her, and she's like, nope, not today. I'm not the one. I ain't doing that.
Not doing it.
I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And when you know someone so well, at that point, we probably were together.
I think it took you a week and a half to get me to go. Every
Once
day you would come home and you
pushing.
were like, trust me, you're going to like it. You're going to love this. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's stupid. That looks dumb.
So,
I was really like, no, that looks awful.
So let's see if I can put this in organized thought here. There's 3 big reasons why I think I knew you would love it. And in some ways, love it more than me. Because for me, I got my hand in a lot of different things. And I love it, but it's just different for you. The first one is you're competitive.
Yeah.
And they're all about, in CrossFit, they're all about tracking your progress.
Yeah.
And seeing how everyone else does. And even though you're supportive of each other, you don't want to be at the bottom of any list.
It's a good competitive there, though. It's not like I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, there's no one there that's like, you suck. Everyone's positive. But I knew.
Everybody's positive, but you're still trying to beat each other. You just you joke around about it.
Yeah,
you're trying
there's a list.
Yeah.
You don't want to be at the bottom. You want to be at the top.
I don't want to be at the bottom of the whiteboard. Ever.
Right. So I knew you'd be competitive. Something else I know about you too is you have this aggression. I'll just be in the kitchen or walking past you. You'll just punch me in the arm or something. You'll just.
He's lying.
You're aggressive. I'm telling you, get a couple beers in you. You want to beat me up. She beats me, guys.
Why do you say that?
You see her looking at me like, wait till we get done. You're going back under the stairs in the basement. You have this
eating for a week.
You have this let's just say this.
Yeah.
I knew once you had weights and you got to start to lift weights. When you lift weights and I see you doing some of these heavy lifts and things, man, I'm just gonna put it out there, man. You're like a dude. You.
No, I know.
You go
I
hard.
am, yeah, I
know. Love lifting weights.
Yeah.
Doing cleans. And what's your favorite movement in CrossFit?
Oh, so it used to be deadlifts. I hate deadlifts now. But I really like push jerks.
Yeah.
And I love dumbbell snatches.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. But I knew you'd love lifting weights.
I do.
Yeah. You know what the biggest reason why I knew you love CrossFit?
Why?
Community.
I do. I love our community.
You are
it's
social, to me, honestly, in my eyes, you're I don't know how you do it. You spin so many plates. We talk about me being the icebreaker. You're the maintainer. You maintain. It's a chore how you stay in contact with as many people as you do. But here's the thing. It's not a chore.
It's not a chore because I like it. A chore is something that you don't like to do. And so I love being around people. I just love hanging out with people and doing things. And So like that's why I do it. It's not like because I feel like I have to or like, oh, I want to be the most popular person around. Like I do it because I like it, and I do it because I love the people that I hang out with. I love the people that I've met through all the different. Like I have like a group of softball friends. I have a group of CrossFit friends. I have my friends from high school. Like I have like my family friends. So I have like all these different groups of friends, but it's because I love my people.
Yeah, you're social, and this is what I admire about you as well is you do. There's people that can do what you do, but they're not their true self. They're fake, or they do the things that are popular, or they'll just, they have friends because they're fake and just pretend to like things to be their friend. You are you. You're the same person with your softball friends, your CrossFit friends. And
I feel like you and I talk.
Like
you and I talk about that a lot too. Is like when you're around people, like you're the same person, like when you're with your friends, and even if I'm not there, like we always talk about that, like how some of your friends will act differently when their wives or girlfriends are not around, but you're like always the same person. Yeah. Which is why you and I are a good fit, because we're both the same way. We're not any different in front of each other and not in front of each other.
Yeah, I would get around my friends back in the day, and we would go like to like the football draft. We do like fantasy football, and I'd bring you. And they all hate on me, not because I was like, oh, I got to bring my wife, but like
because you wanted to.
Yeah, like you'd hang out at the bar or whatever, and like they're like, no, we're trying to get away from our wives. Yeah, and I wanted to bring you with, not because I was like whooped you or something like that.
Well, but and like, I remember like in the beginning too, like I was always around. Like it was it was like me, you, and the boys. Like I was like one of the boys, but it's because we weren't different.
And you were like that. You also are. That's another thing about you. You also are one of the boys. Like you can hang out and hold your own, and you're strong enough where you're not like that debutante or like, won't say something unless someone speaks to you first. You're not. You are. I won't say. I think when someone says the word outspoken, it gets looked at as negative. You just say what's on your mind, and you're unapologetic, but you're also not.
No, but I'm not being rude about it. Like
you're honest. Yeah. You're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, but if you feel like something needs to be said, you're going to say it. And I do. Think people respect that about you.
I do more recently. I try not to do that because then it does get looked at like I'm just being a bitch, but I'm not trying to be.
And people think you have this hard edge and you're intimidating.
I'm not though. You're not? Look at me.
You're just hard chick now. That's
I'm
what
not
it is.
Intimidating.
Look at you now. 0%. Look at you come up. You used to be like this, like I like unicorns. I like going to Olive Garden. That's my favorite place. Look at you now. I mean, coming out of your shell. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, that's partly you too. Like, like just helping me through, trying to become the person that I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
That's why we work so well together. Like,
right.
You help me, I help you.
Yeah. There's a quote and it says, lift as you climb.
Yeah.
Right. As you're moving up, like those people around you, like encourage them. I remember I did a couple months ago. I listen to Tony Robbins, and I'm a subscriber to motivational stuff. Like you did some of that stuff with me.
I did, yeah, I remember.
And I never thought you would, because you're like, I ain't doing that stuff. It's not, I won't do all that. But you did some of it with me.
I did. I mean, I have my opinions, but it was cool in the moment. But it's not my thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's more your thing.
Yeah.
But that's also an example of something that you really like to do, but you don't push it on me. And like, you'll do it, but it's cool if I don't.
I could sit there and try to break it all apart, but I think for you, you just kind of act and just do it. Where me, I'm more cerebral, where I got to think about it before I do it. You just do it. Like if there's a stressful situation, I have to think about it and then act. You just do it.
Yeah.
You're genuine.
That's also bad.
Everything is a gift and a curse, but in that instance, it's definitely a gift and a curse too. Also, you are like the one that if there's someone that's in the room and is not like a good person or they're being shitty, like I got to keep Kristina away from this person because she's gonna tell them. Like you're like the person in the crew that I'm like you don't have you would suck at poker. You do not have a poker face.
I really don't.
You do not have a poker face. If you don't like someone.
You can see it all over. You know what I tell her? I mean, you probably know this. But like if I don't like somebody, it's all over my, like I can't even hide it if I tried. Like you know that. Like if there's somebody walks in and somebody I don't like, instantly my face changes and it's just nothing that I can't even control it anymore.
You're protective. That's what it is. When you love people, you love deeply.
Yeah.
And
I don't
think
like when
it's a
people are
protective
mean to like when other people are mean to my people. Like you or the kids or like my friends. Like if people are mean to my friends, like it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're protective.
I am. I'm very protective. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'll fight for your people.
I
You'll
will.
defend them.
I will.
No, that's good. It could be intimidating, though.
But I don't know. I don't feel like it's intimidating. Like, why is that intimidating? Because I'm protective.
No, I just think you wear your heart in your sleeve. You have
Yeah.
genuine relationships with people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's good. No, I think it's who you are. It's something I'm definitely. That is admirable.
Yeah.
You know.
Hmm.
So I think we're gonna raise our hand.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
All right. So we've been doing CrossFit now a little under 4 years.
I think this August will be
4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
And so like I coach.
Yeah.
And we go a lot. I mean, you're at minimum 5 days a week, all day.
Yeah. Some weeks I'm more, and sometimes I'm less. Like I think not last week before, I think I only went like 3 times.
And you've come a long way. I remember when you first went to CrossFit, like you walked in the door and immediately were able to do like a handstand because of your gymnastics background.
Yeah.
And you just,
but that's not. I don't know. I feel like that's not something that is really like
it's a natural attribute
it's
that
just
you
like,
had
yeah.
walking in. Like me, I was just.
I mean,
naturally,
that's because I was also a cheerleader and like so I had those kinds of skills. But no, I mean I remember like picking up the bar and I was like, dang, this thing's heavy. It's like 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I can't lift 35
So
pounds. Like how sad is that?
I'm gonna play Mr. Interviewer, even though I know these answers.
Okay.
What is your biggest accomplishment in CrossFit?
Ooh,
Could be
pull up.
Getting your pull up.
Getting my pull up, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a strict pull up, but it was hard.
I mean, you're always setting in CrossFit. You're always setting personal.
Yeah,
records.
I always have goals.
Personal records and goals, and a lot of people
Weight
don't.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think my deadlift, I think it was 265.
Yeah.
When we did that competition, the intramural competition.
Yeah,
at the gym.
you were in a intramural competition. You also did a competition outside the gym.
Yeah, that was cool.
Who was it? Tell us about that. What was that about?
We came in last place.
Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, me and Becky. So, I remember we practiced a lot, her and I, like right before the competition. But it was fun. I mean, there was like four groups of people that did the competition.
Yeah.
Right. I think like Megan and Leanne did it. It was me and Becky. Who else did it?
But seeing you challenge yourself, like going there and watching, I'm there,
Yeah.
I'm supporting you, seeing you struggle and seeing you push yourself. Everyone's watching the pressure of it.
Yeah.
Being in the moment. It was like, I was proud of you.
You know
like,
what's crazy is, so I feel like I felt like I was going to do better with the pressure. Like I felt like I was going to like get the adrenaline and like, then I was going to do a muscle up or something. I remember like thinking, man, I'm going to be amazing. And then I wasn't. And I was so disappointed. I still had fun. I think it was still awesome, but I was so disappointed that like, I didn't like, I don't know. There was like that, when you feel like that switch that flips and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. And that didn't happen for me. So I was a little sad that like, I didn't like do as well as I wanted to.
I don't know. This is my motivational speaker coming out, but you did it.
I did.
And I look at you like in the time that we've been together, like you're in a lot of ways, like so evolved from the person that I met, to do competitions now.
I'm totally different. Like if you would have told me back when we first met that I was
doing podcasts.
Yeah. That I was going to do a CrossFit competition or that I was going to like do this or, just a lot of the things that we do now, I would have been like, you're crazy. Yeah. There's no way. I'm not that person. That's not who I am.
You're more of a risk taker than you give yourself credit for. But this is the thing I know about you. This is how you're a risk taker. You won't volunteer to take a risk, but if you're in a situation, you ain't no punk bitch.
Right.
You'll do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
Even when it comes to like, I'll give you an example, like mopeds.
I hate you.
We went on a trip with some friends. And we get some mopeds, and she's on them, and out of nowhere, she's got to race. She's got to be competitive.
We were racing.
Right.
Yeah, I fell off the moped
Yeah.
and I almost died.
I thought she died.
No, I didn't almost die.
You hurt you.
I did hurt myself really bad, and I did. Honestly, like if I didn't have a helmet on, I probably would have died. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, and you're not this errant like risk taker that's always risking your life, but you do like the
Yeah, there are these random things that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Like it's gonna be fun.
right. And the reason why you probably did it in the past because you weren't confident, but like I support you, and I think that's important for me, even if we disagree. Like in talking about the power couple thing. Like we have talked about this. At the end of the day, we want each other to be happy, even if we weren't together.
Yeah. Like I want you to do good, and it's not for selfish reasons for me. Like I want you to do good for you. Like I want to do good for me. Like you, and you're the same.
Yeah.
So like if my friends do something good, I'm like, that's amazing. Like I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I want them to be happy too.
So let me ask you this then, because like part of my journey, and I talked about it, was I felt guilty putting myself first, going to the gym for 3 hours, knowing you were going to be pissed and I was going to have to sleep in the couch that night because I wanted to go to the gym, and you're like, but I wanted you to come home and do the dishes. Like
you don't
you
do
had
the dishes. Stop playing.
Awkward, but you had to be okay with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because I felt guilty about.
Well, and
that.
I did, and for me too, that was so like I remember when we first started dating, like I'm really close with my family, and so I spent a lot of time like hanging out with my family at my mom's house or at like with my cousins or whatever. And I remember you were not cool with it because you were like, why are you always with your family? I'm like, 'cause it's my family. Like, you understand? Like, and you didn't have that. So like
opposite, very
yeah,
small
we were
family.
super opposite.
Yeah.
So I remember like when you first started coming around, it was so hard for you. And I was like, but like, this is my family. Like, yeah, how do you not get
You know what the hard
this?
thing of it is because not that you guys share everything, but you share a lot more than, you guys are very open.
Yeah.
You guys are all living together, connected.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, why are you putting all our business out there in the street like that?
Yeah, I did. I remember we broke up and I came home. My uncle was there. My dad's brother was visiting from Texas, and he's like, "You want me to go kick his ass?"
Oh, so here we talk about couple stuff. Let's give a couple's tip. Let's give a couple tips.
A couple tip: don't share your personal relationship with your family. Tip number 1.
Why?
Because it's bad. Because then, they never forget that stuff.
So if I
forgive him and he forgives me, your they're not going to forget that. And then they're going to always be like, oh, remember that one time or
you're still with this guy?
Yeah. No joke. Cause I remember when I came home after we broke up and I moved back home, my dad hated him. Like he was like, if I ever see his face, like
it was a rough time meeting him in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, nobody was ever going to be good enough for me anyways. My dad, it's just who he was.
Yeah. No one's ever good enough for your daughter.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got that, but that made it even worse. And then it wasn't just my dad, but then it was my uncle, all my uncles, they wanted to murder him. It was frightening.
Let's just say I went through the gauntlet.
He did.
He
proved himself and they all love him now.
My way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I met your grandfather.
Oh, my grandpa loved Gabi. Oh my God, it was.
And is genuine on my part, but I knew if I wanted to get into this family,
yeah,
I needed to go to the head of the household and earn his respect.
And he did.
With your dad and your grandfather.
Yeah, my dad and my
grandpa. And both of them, I had to go trial by fire, and it wasn't easy. But I knew I had to show that I was willing to do the extras, and I wasn't I was a good dude.
Yeah.
I was a good dude.
And they saw that. They knew that.
Yeah.
They loved you.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just kidding.
Gotta tell a funny story, and then we're gonna switch gears because I want to talk a little more about some power couples that are out there. Yeah. But I want to tell a story of when I met your dad and then when I met your mom.
Oh God.
Because I think it's important. Let's talk about your mom first.
Oh, okay. So my mom. The Holiday Inn. Okay, yeah. So you were DJing, and we came in there, and So
what did you tell? I don't know this. What did you tell her when you were gonna bring her to meet me? What did you say?
Nothing. Just I want you to meet my boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you didn't
it
set
wasn't
it up at all?
No.
Don't say anything about his hair, because he's got this, boy
No.
hair.
I know. Not with her.
Yeah.
With my dad, yeah. Not with her. But yeah, so she was just she knew though, she already knew. So funny story is Gabi, he sings, and so I told my mom, and she was like, okay. So he's like, I'm gonna sing a song to your mom, and I was like, okay. And now I didn't tell him anything. My mom's a huge Air Supply fan. She would wake us up on Saturday mornings, with Air Supply blaring in the house to get up and clean. So Gabi sings Air Supply. Not knowing.
Coincidental.
Had no idea that she was like in love with Air Supply.
God had
like,
his hand on us
Yeah.
on that day because it just out of nowhere.
And
just
so he sang Air Supply. And
Oh, what is it? I sang, I'm all out of love.
No.
I'm so.
No, that's not the one you sang.
I think so.
No, you sing the train one. Babe, I'm leaving. I must.
No,
be
that's
on
Styx. That's Babe by Styx. This is where the music. DJ
Oh,
comes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
It wasn't all.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you.
Oh, that's it.
I know you
You're
were
right.
right.
I'm wrong.
I don't know. I just love Air Supply.
Yeah. So he sings it, and my mom's like, winner.
I had her.
Yeah,
That
she
was
loved it instantly. She was
Although I have a picture of us that day when I took a picture of you, I was a little too close. She said you need to leave a little room for the Holy Ghost.
like, she did not.
Because like I remember giving you a hug.
No,
in the
I don't
picture,
remember.
and
She did tell you were hugging me too tight.
I was embraced a little close, tightly, and so But so
Yeah.
with moms it went over pretty well.
Yeah, my mom liked you right away.
So did you sing to her dad?
No. Oh God. Yeah, that did not go well.
It didn't go well.
That didn't go well. Well, first of all,
She
so
gave me
my dad,
tips
I did.
before I came.
So my
and I
dad
didn't
was
follow
very
it.
traditional Hispanic. Like boys should not wear earrings. They should not wear jewelry. Like, that's just who he was. Gabi had earrings. He wore a bracelet. Like he had a necklace, a bracelet. So when he came, I was like, listen, take out your earring, take off your bracelet, take off your necklace. If you don't want to hear bad stuff come out of my dad's mouth, like you have to take all this stuff off.
Yeah, and we'll just say for the podcast, but he just made some comments and said some things that gave me the impression.
Well, and not only that, he came late, and my dad hates when people are late.
But this is where I think I set the tone. Is that I also things roll off me, and I can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going into the gauntlet. I was going into the pit, and he was giving it all to me. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Pass the potatoes. I was
Yeah,
cool with
it
that.
was
Rolling with the
actually-
punches,
it
having
was
fun.
chilly.
And I will say this, honestly, there's been some times in our relationship when I've come over and talked to your dad, and we would sit there and I would have conversations with him and your grandfather too.
Yeah.
That I don't think they would have with anybody else.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So I earned
that's
respect.
true.
And
He
got to the
did. He
point,
really
go over
did.
there
Yeah.
and have conversations.
It took
talk
him a
about
long
whatever.
time with my dad. It took him longer with my dad than it did with Grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa instantly liked you. But my dad took a little bit longer.
But hey,
my dad he didn't trust anybody. So like he was like, I don't know. I gotta wait. I don't know if I like him yet.
but look, I might have been a knucklehead, but I did it the
Yeah.
right way.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I asked for your hand in marriage.
You did.
I
Which
asked
is
your dad.
one of the only things I wanted to do.
While we were shopping for Christmas trees, I drove separate, and I asked him in the car. I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "Okay, we got to go over and get a tree." I'm like, "Cool, can I marry your daughter?"
That's not how
quite.
I was gonna say that's not
I
how
said
you
it a
said
little more. I'm like, "Hey, things are getting really serious."
I'm surprised he didn't say no. He didn't say no like jokingly.
No, I do remember, and he's like, "Do you love her?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Yeah, she's all right."
You
I was
did
like,
not.
"No, yeah."
I
I'm
know,
like,
like,
we're
he would've
pretty serious,
stabbed
and
you.
we'd already had Mateo
Yeah.
at that point, so that was a tough thing. Every parent wants.
Yeah.
They want the best for their kids, and so
I remember he
we
was
had
really
Mateo
disappointed.
out of wedlock.
Yeah. You know why? Because I would always promise my dad. I was like, I promise I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get married. We're going to get a house, and then I'm going to have a kid. Like I promise I'm going to do it right. Promise. I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to get pregnant when I'm 16. I wasn't 16. I was 24. And it's not like Gabi and I had just met. Like we'd been together forever.
I didn't propose 5 years.
Yeah,
before
5
I
years.
proposed.
Yeah. And I think I was pregnant with Mateo.
Yeah.
So, but he was, so he was upset, and he didn't talk to me for like 3 weeks.
I
He was
remember
so
the
mad
day
at
that we
me.
told him he came back from
Oh
a
my
Cubs trip. He went to like a Cubs,
Yeah.
beer crawl or something.
Yeah, we went to a Milwaukee game on the bus.
They got back, and then we went to give him a card, like
And
a
it said,
greeting
like,
card.
grandparents.
It was a hey,
Yeah.
grandpa.
Hey, grandpa. And he looked at it, and he was like, "Is this a joke?" And I was
And
like,
walked away.
and then he just handed it to my mom, and he walked
It
out.
didn't go. I was like, that
Yeah.
didn't go as
That
expected.
did not go well.
That was rough, but we worked it out.
Yeah.
We got it right.
Yeah.
Great grandpa Mateo
Yeah.
has such a lucky kid to have that experience with his grandpa. You know what I mean? And that worked out. We got it right. We
Yeah.
got married. We had an amazing wedding.
Yeah.
Things work out.
It did.
We've come a long way.
We sure have.
Yeah. So on the topic of power couples, we know in media right now, something recently just happened. A-Rod and J-Lo split.
Surprise.
Did you see that coming?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Why? Because you know J-Lo can't stay with nobody?
I do feel like that's the case. Like, I love J-Lo. Like, she's like one of my favorite. Like, love her.
Because you're K-Lo and she's J-Lo.
Yeah. No, I love her, but I don't know.
Now, this is all, by the way, this is just our opinion. We don't know for sure, but, you know, this is what we do.
I don't know. I think guys are threatened by her, and I think they just can't. Because look at her. She's successful all by herself. She doesn't need anybody. Like, it's just, I feel like a lot of guys are still like not okay with the success of.
I think anybody that's a celebrity. So like, you know, A-Rod was an athlete, but he's a celebrity. He's uber rich. So think about ego, right? Think about like.
But actors. Wasn't he like talking to some chick? Like, didn't like something come out where he was like talking to this chick on the side? Like, keep it in your pants, man.
I don't subscribe to this, but Chris Rock once said, people are only as committed as their options. So you thinking A-Rod, let's just say never with J-Lo as a bachelor. So you're
saying if you have options.
No, I don't subscribe to that. That's what Chris Rock said. That's what Chris Rock said. So what I'm saying is you're not A-Rod, saying that, right? I'm not saying that. Moving on. A-Rod is like a billionaire. Like, he's uber rich. Didn't he just like put in a bid to buy the Timberwolves?
Yeah, but he's just A-Rod. Like,
but he's also like, you know, like.
You think A-Rod is more popular than J-Lo?
No, I didn't say popular.
But that's what my point is. Like, that it's because he's not as popular as she is.
Look, yes, definitely someone gets the tiebreaker and J-Lo gets that tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like they're both. So there's, you know, like an actress will be with someone who's not in the movie business, and then they go on the red carpet, and this is the guy that's got to hold her purse while they're all taking pictures, and everyone's like, get out of the shot. A-Rod's not going to get out of the shot.
Right, but that's the type of person that she probably needs, is the guy who's going to hold her purse. That's not going to give a shit.
Because like she was with Mark Anthony, right? And I don't know why that didn't work out, you know, but. Because someone has to, like, here.
Well, because they're both divas.
So look, now maybe things are different with $100 million, you know, if we had $100 million in the bank. But, and, you know, probably not, because we're bad. We're awesome. But I said, you know how we said it's important that depending on the situation, you need to let the other person have the spotlight?
Right. Like, and they probably don't know how to do that. They probably both need the spotlight.
They both need to have it. When you get to that point in your career, you wouldn't have gotten that far unless you were driven by needing to
and also she didn't need him to get where she's at. You know what I mean? So like she did it all on her own, so she didn't need him to get to that spot.
And maybe it's cheating and infidelity, and who knows the reasons why. We hear rumors. At the end of the day, it didn't work out. Now she's been married a few times, and you know him as well, and they got kids by other people. And look, we never know the true story with celebrities, but the point is like you have two like alphas.
Yeah.
You know, A-Rod is
only room for one.
I'm telling you, you got to check your ego at the door. And I think that's another thing, too, in a relationship. You got to check your ego. Remember I said it's 1 + 1 = 1.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to give up. There's times where there's things maybe I wanted to do or things you wanted to do. There's probably a time where like maybe you wanted to go on a trip or wanted to go out one night and you knew it probably wouldn't be good for our relationship to do that. Or vice versa. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's those times, let's be honest. Yeah. Like, you know what? Nah, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Same thing with me. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I'm going to leave her there and whatever. And so I bet you those types of people, they probably don't do that.
For sure.
You know, they're like.
Well, because they don't need to. Because they're like, if you can't deal with it, like we're already, you know, famous. Like if you can't deal with it, then what's.
So I'm going to mention another couple, right? So Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. They've been going for a while, though.
And they seem pretty solid.
They seem solid.
I would be shocked if they ever weren't together.
Oh, me too.
You know what I notice about them? Gabrielle Union. And it comes out in her characters when she acts. She's strong.
Yeah,
she's a strong personality. She's like an alpha, and Dwayne Wade's kind of like not.
Yeah,
like yin yang thing is going on there. Like you can tell Dwayne Wade,
like he's more passive.
He's retired
and
now.
She's more.
Yeah, like if people meet us, you'll see right away. You're more the alpha. And I'm like, I don't mind deferring.
Right.
We take our times.
No, yeah. I do feel like we switch off. I feel like, more me than you.
Yeah.
But I do feel like in certain situations, it's you.
Yeah, it just depends on the situation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Kanye and Kim Kardashian, that didn't work out.
No, they're getting divorced.
Too. That's another situation where I just think look, it's like when you have a band or a group, there's only one microphone.
Well, and
not everybody can sing.
And here's the
when
thing.
You're married, there's only one spotlight. Who gets it?
It's because Kanye has such a big ego, and he can't handle that Kim is Kim.
Is that it?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It has to be.
I mean, who knows?
Like, he's such a diva that he needs that extra attention. If he's not getting that attention, he doesn't like it.
Yeah. I just think
that's my opinion. I don't like Kanye.
I think Kanye is truly, my opinion, I think he truly is an artist, not just musically. I think he's an artist mind. He's very scatterbrained and all over the place, and he has all these different things that he wants to do.
His music is good, and I feel like he is a good artist. I just don't like his personality. I don't like who he is as a person.
Sure. In my opinion, and I don't know why it didn't work out, but I would say this. One thing you can say about the Kardashians is there's a matriarch in the family, the mom, and they do have a strong family, and they do put all their business out there in the street. But one thing you can say about Kim is like she seems to be like a good mom and, always with her kids and stuff. And even though she's a businesswoman and she's in the spotlight to some degree, she's kind of a little bit behind the scenes. You don't see her every day in the news. But with Kanye, he's running for president.
Yeah, he's doing this. And then, but you see too that like she would support him no matter what.
Yeah, I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
even though that she thought that what he was doing was probably crazy, she was still like, yeah, I'm going to support my husband.
Right.
I'm going to do whatever you want me to do. I'm going to support you 100%.
Yeah. And it's hard. Look, when you date or you are committed with someone who is an athlete, who is an artist, a musician, an actor, you like being with the DJ, knowing what you're signed up for. Like sometimes they get that itch where I need to sing, I need to express myself. I'm happiest, and you know what comes with that, and you got to be supportive, but knowing that, look, we got to do this the right way, right? Because what you don't want, the worst thing in the world is when you have like an artist that can't express themselves. You might get the team down version, but they're never going to be the happy and they're full. Like you're not going to get all of them.
Yeah.
You know, like, so last night, impromptu, Dr. Anthony calls me up on stage.
Yeah.
I do twist and shout with him.
Yeah.
I was on a high after that.
That was I was telling Abby earlier, that's the most, like, that's my favorite performance that I've ever seen him do.
No way.
And I've seen him perform 1,000 times.
I was up there 2 minutes.
I know, but that was my absolute, because they were just like, you can just tell when two people like vibe together, like him and Dr. Anthony just vibe, like when they're on stage together. Like I noticed.
By the way, Dr. Anthony, we're going to have you on this podcast, man. I'm calling you out right now, son.
It was just amazing to watch. Like it was so cool, like how excited they both were to like sing with each other and like be on stage together. It was amazing. Like honestly, it was so cool.
Yeah. Like
I was showing Isabel the video today and she was like, man, Dad definitely has the energy for that song.
Yeah. No, I was excited. It was impromptu and but like if I didn't have the opportunity to have those outlets, even doing stuff like this, look at this.
Yeah.
Not only are you cool with us doing a podcast, you're like, I'm going to go on there with you.
Yeah.
You know, like that's supportive.
I mean, I would have been mad if you didn't ask me to do it.
See?
Told you.
She told me. She's like, it's time for my
No,
spot.
you know what's funny
Enough
though, is I remember when you guys first started it and I was like, what did I tell you, Norm? I was like, nope, not doing it. Not getting on there. Not happening. But then the more that I watched you do it and the more that I watched the podcast with you, I was like, man, I kind of want to do that.
I will
like,
say it is
fun.
very liberating to be able to say things that you wouldn't normally put out there. And you don't have this problem because I said you're real and you tell it like it is. But like for me, you always worried about the right way to say things. And like, especially like at work, you always worry about packaging tough conversations. But when I get on here and stuff comes out and people catch you off guard but you're not going to lie and you're going to be honest.
Yeah.
I go back and I watch this stuff and I'm like, man, it felt so good to get it off my chest where I can't take it back. It's real. It's honest. People see it. Like they see the real you. And honestly, I think that is what people respect the most is when someone they don't always want like, where do I want to go with this? Like, you'll see in music and in movies, there's the good guy and the bad guy. And back in like the 50s, you'd have like the good guy. He's like the good cowboy, never did anything wrong, never made a bad decision. And then you have like the villain. Everybody knows he's the villain. Nowadays, it's not like that.
No,
everybody is flawed.
Yeah.
Everybody has like.
We all have our.
What show do we love? We loved watching that show, Breaking Bad.
Or Dexter.
Another example.
Where like Dexter was like a bad guy, but like you were rooting for him because he was like a good bad guy. He's a good bad guy. He's a good bad guy.
There are no more, honestly, there are no more good guys.
There's
no more like.
There's like nobody that's like, I'm just a good guy.
Only
It's
make
like,
good decisions.
I do this, but I'm also do this. But
Yeah, because what is
but
honesty?
you're like root for it because it's true. It's life. It's real life.
You root for the underdog. You root for the guy that's flawed, or like, you know, he's got a story behind him. Like, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes, and along the way, and the journey is what people sign up for.
Right.
Same thing with you. The journey is what you sign up for. You sign up for a marathon, and who cares the time that it took for you to finish? You did a half marathon. You sign up for a CrossFit competition. Who cares you came in last? You did it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
So I want to mention one more power couple, and it's going to bring us to something, and that's Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, right?
Yeah. And so you see with them too that they both had like a little issue like a couple years ago.
I don't stay on top of TMZ and all the gossip, but you probably know more than me.
Yeah, I mean, duh. But yeah, they had like a little like there was like some rumors about some infidelity going on there, but you see how they stayed out of the media. They were like, this is none of your business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I love about them. Like, they were like, what's going on in our personal life at home is not your business. So we're not even to tell you anything that goes on.
I think they probably had a conversation and said, look, what do we want to get out of this? Because Beyonce, I remember she did an interview a long time ago. She said early on in her career, they're like, why do you work so hard? You're doing this, you're doing that, you're on top of the world. She's like, I want to get to a certain point where I don't want to have to work anymore. I want to make enough money. I want to raise kids. And she said it like that.
Yeah.
And like now you see her and she's done like big tours and sold a bunch of millions of records and stuff, but you don't see her every day.
Yeah.
Like she's raising kids. And then you look at Jay-Z, the guy is a confirmed like billionaire now.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't happen. He's not out in the streets and he's not out like in the media.
Neither one of them are. And they do their thing. Like every once in a while, Beyonce will come out with something and you'll see her in the news, but they both like pretty much try to stay out of the limelight.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Who's the alpha in that relationship?
Beyonce.
Beyonce? Yeah. Is that easy?
100%.
Right. So this is
you
like,
can just tell.
So like we're talking about like Jay-Z, like this dude is, man, look at like Blueprint, all these albums coming out. This guy's like gangster, right?
Yeah, but he's not the alpha.
Well, he's a businessman now.
Yeah.
It's hard in hip hop because like in hip hop, like they come up, like the rapper will come up and they'll talk about what they do. And then once you start making money, how do you still stay true to the street? Like Jay-Z now, the guy's a billionaire. Can the guy put out a record and talk about like, and also it's an age thing.
He doesn't need to.
Well, he doesn't need to, but how does he do that? He can do like a guest spot on like do like a verse or something. But like Beyonce, she's timeless. She is a timeless talent.
Yeah.
She is honestly this generation's Diana Ross.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And she's confident.
Mm-hmm.
She's strong. She is like the example of girl power, woman power. Like
100%.
Alicia Keys is another example of that.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So Beyonce and Jay-Z, power couples. That's
couple.
example. And that actually is the artist. Those are the artists for the song that you picked. This week, our call to action is what is your power couple song? Right?
Yeah.
And our power couple song is 03 Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I need in this life for sin is me and my girlfriend.
I'm not singing.
Down
I already did my
to the
little
very end,
my little spot earlier.
girlfriend. Huh.
Yeah.
So that's actually a remake. That was actually a Tupac song, Me and My Girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then it came out and then Beyonce sang on there. And so it's Me and My Girlfriend, but there's some lyrics in there. We're going to get into the lyrics, but let me ask you before we get into the lyrics, and this is a song you picked.
I did.
Power couple song. Why did you pick this song?
Honestly?
Yeah.
It was the first song that came to my mind.
Okay, that's okay. I will tell you this, without even getting into the lyrics, it's definitely a fun song. Like when we're driving in the car and it comes on, that we can sing together.
I did. So it was like the first song that came to my mind. But then like when I looked at the lyrics, I was like, some of the lyrics like apply to us. So I was like, oh, this is actually pretty perfect for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And even though it's girlfriend, what it really means, like, hey, me and
like
my
partner.
My ride or die.
Yeah. My ride or die. Yeah.
Right. Which is honestly, and bringing it back around for me, and I'm not going to cry here, but that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted a good girl and I wanted to ride or die, and yeah, I have it.
But I don't want to die.
All right. So
I'll ride with you, but I'm not dying with you. No, I'm just kidding.
Awkward. All right. So we're going to get into some of the lyrics that we wrote down.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
And so I'm going to say the lyric in there and then tell me why you picked that lyric and why. So one of the lyrics in there, put us together. How they going to stop both us? Whatever she lacks, I'm right over her shoulder.
Okay.
When I'm off okay, right there. I'm gonna stop there. Okay.
Yeah. So we actually talked about this, like with the marathon thing, like whatever I lack, like you pick up for me, like you. So like if I can't do something, like you're right there to push me or motivate me or tell me like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. This is how we're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
We do that a lot too, like with the house stuff. If there's like a problem that I can't solve, like you are like, okay, let's figure this out together. I'm going to help you. So like where I lack in figuring things out, you pick up the slack. Same for you. It's like if there is something that you are trying to do and you can't figure out, and then I pick that slack for you.
And to take that a step further, we're at a point in our relationship where we have roles to play. Yes. Now, if I say this outside looking in, people are like, you're going to tell her that she's got a role? Yeah. It's not like that. No. I'm not like, look. You're
not like I'm in the kitchen cooking and cleaning.
It's totally not traditional. No. Actually, you're the one mowing the lawn and I'm doing the dishes.
True.
It's completely flip flopped. You're the one fixing the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm doing the other stuff, whatever. But so like an example, when I'm outside of work, like you control the schedule.
Yeah.
You know, like you are like the schedule coordinator. That's your role.
I mean, if you look at the wall, like it's
people ever ask me like, hey man, what are you doing this week? I don't know. Ask Chris.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Because if you ask Gabi, he's gonna add everything to the calendar.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Wicca. You've been calling me Gabi this whole episode, but everybody, it's the Bino Salazar Jamcast.
That's not what
I'm Bino now. Everybody knows me as Bino.
Listen,
I ain't Gabi no more.
I want to call you.
His mama call him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. Is that what it is?
Listen,
I'm Bino now.
When I met you, what was your name?
I'm Bino.
Was it Bino? No, I called you Gabi. I'll call you Gabi.
I'm Bino, though. The world knows me. This is not, you're going to blow me up.
Listen. You're Gabi.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to change the name of the show. It's now going to be called the Bino Salazar Jamcast. All right. So that's that lyric.
Keep moving along, Bino.
Moving along. Let's see. Jay-Z says in there, and I can't impersonate Jay-Z. It's tough when you read hip hop lyrics.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. I was thinking about that too. I was like, are you going to sing what are you going to do?
When I'm off track, mama's keeping me focused. When I'm off track, mama is keeping me focused. How about that one?
Wait, I don't think I picked that lyric, but no, but I like that one. Actually, it's true. I'm going to go back to
keto.
No, not keto. When you were finishing your degree.
Oh.
So you remember like the last like month and a half or so when you were finishing and you were like, I'm going to quit. Like I'm not going to pass this class. Like I'm done. I'm just done. Remember that?
It's funny that you say that. My last class to finish, I almost failed it.
Yeah.
It came down to one assignment.
Yeah.
And I bombed the assignment and the teacher was like, I'm not going to let you submit an updated like final. I did like an essay or something. And I remember telling you about it. You were sitting there with me. You're like, hey, it's all right. We're going to figure it out. Like you were encouraging me. You're like,
well, not only that is I think that last month too was really rough. And like, so I would put like Post-it notes on the mirror in the bathroom. Like, keep going. You got this.
Yeah.
Put him in his lunchbox.
It was a rough time.
I think one day I like put him on the steering wheel of his car. Like I would just like put these little reminders like, you're awesome. You're amazing. You can do this. Like,
I will say, just to kind of put it out there, that was a time I've never, people talk about having like a breakdown. Yeah. That was the closest I've ever been to that because it was so important to finish the degree because, like, if not, then my student loans.
Well, then you would have had to pay all the loans back, and then
anybody that's ever gone through that, it's tough. And
I
so
think
that
we had
last
like
class,
graduation tickets already.
We had graduation, like the
we had like the flight paid for.
The pro teams, like they're winning the game, like the champagne bottles are ready, everything is ready, and then they miss the shot, game over, they lose.
Done.
Anyways, miraculously, within like an hour or two of that conversation with you that night, the teacher had emailed back and he's like, okay, go ahead and submit your assignment. And I passed the class and I graduated. And so, you kept me focused. And even like through this journey, even recently, like you kind of know what I need to hear to get me through. And
you do too.
Stuff.
And you know what I need to hear and you know how to get me motivated when I'm like, when there's something that I know I need to do and I don't want to do it, but you know how to like push me to do that. So that's another tip too. Know how to push and motivate the other person. How do you get the best out of your significant other?
What do you do to get the best out of them? Because honestly, they're grateful for it. Like,
Yeah.
I know that I'm grateful when you push me, and then when it's done, I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't for you.
Yeah. And I know there's times where like when you push me and I'm like, I fight back so hard. And I'm like,
We both fight.
I can't stand you.
Yeah.
But then like when it's done, I'm like, I kind of needed that. Like
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People fight the people they love the most.
Yeah.
They say you are hurt the most by the people you love the most, because those are the ones you let in.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Another lyric. I know I ain't perfect. Nobody walking this earth's surfaces.
So that goes to like just in general, like you and I both we're flawed individuals, and like we know how to like just deal with each other.
Right.
Like nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. We don't claim to be perfect. Like when we talk about the power couple thing, and I'm like, yeah, well, we're not perfect. Like we have our issue. We've always we still have we still have arguments.
Honestly, we say power couple and we're embracing it and we're confident about it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to get power couple tattooed on my arm. We're just in
What? I thought we were doing that tomorrow.
I guess we are. Disregard everything I just said.
No, I agree. Like I think it's an amazing feeling to have somebody say that to us, but we're not perfect. We have our issues. We're flawed individuals. Like,
and we put a lot of work in.
But we put in when you put the work in, it's where that's how you get here. That's how you get to this point.
I think when you're married to someone too, you accept that, look, they're imperfections too.
Yeah.
The good and the bad. Like seeing them on their worst day. Like there's been days you've seen me where I was embarrassed for you to see me that way. And
Me too though.
You know what's a funny one? To keep it a little light. So I did that burpee challenge and you supported me.
Yeah.
Remember I was laying in the
tub?
Oh my
God.
I couldn't get out of the tub, and I'm like,
I feel so. He was like rolling around in the tub.
I'm laying in the tub.
And he's like naked, and I'm like, Are you gonna be able to get out of this tub?
I did 1,000 burpees at the beginning of the year, and afterwards I went to do the cold plunge to get
oh my
muscles.
God, it was so funny.
Seriously,
he legit couldn't get out.
I had a little glimpse of, knock on wood, and God willing, that we have our faculties when we're 90 and we're 100, because that's the feeling that I'm gonna have. I was in that
like
tub,
if I have to change a diaper or something.
Something like I could not get out of the tub, and I tried. I'm like, babe, I can't get out. But you were like, all right.
I was like, I got you. No, and I wasn't. Maybe you were embarrassed, but I was like, I was embarrassed.
I was a little embarrassed, but there was a little bit of look,
look at you. You just took 6 hours to do 1,000 burpees. Like, I got you. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, but there was a little bit. I'm like, I'm a grown ass man. I should be able to get out of the tub on my own. I couldn't get out.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah. You got to be there for each other.
Yeah.
You accept the imperfections, and really.
I'm sure there's been plenty of times where I've been in those situations, and you've helped me out. So.
Absolutely. And I will say this too. There are probably some of those things that we'll never ever share.
Yeah.
That'll never be on a podcast. And that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
The little things.
Well, you got to keep some things personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So the last line in there. She do anything necessary for him, and I do anything necessary for her. So don't let the necessary occur. Yep. Next. 9 o'clock.
Oh.
Next. So you'll do the necessary.
We'll do the necessary.
What are the necessary things that we do for each other? Like, all right, pick one. What's something that I need you for? And I'll share one thing that you need me for. Putting you on the spot.
Family stuff.
Give me an example.
Like just making sure that we're like on top of the kids' like stuff, like school and like Isabel with her softball and stuff. Like sometimes like you don't always like think about those things, and then I kind of gotta be like, hey, like.
Yeah.
We got to buckle down on Mateo and his homework. You got to make sure you're there on time for Isabel's game, like stuff like that.
No, you do. And so for me, it's sometimes I get so tunnel vision. I have this thing where the reason I can accomplish great things is because I can focus, but in the process of focusing, the juggling is what's tough for me sometimes.
And I'm really good at the juggling, so that's where I keep you.
You should start juggling. I bet you would be awesome.
I can't actually juggle. Like I can't actually like juggle.
Yeah. No, you're good. You spin plates.
Yeah.
Like I talk about how you talk to so many people in genuine relationships and juggle, and you do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what I do for you is I make sure that, you're not in jail. I keep you out of jail. That's what I do for you.
Jackie.
No.
That's a good one, though.
It is a good one.
Wow.
I keep you from
committing. Why does everybody think I'm so like this aggressive person?
But that's going to be another episode.
I'm not.
Babe, actually, the truth is this is
Is this an intervention?
It's an intervention.
Is this an intervention, guys?
We're all here. We love you. We're here for you.
I'll kill you.
Motion to dismiss, Your Honor.
I'm just kidding. I love you so much. I love you so much.
I love you too. So what I do think I give to you is I allow you to think objectively about things, because sometimes you feel like you're hard on your sleeve, you're honest, and you'll be in a situation be like, man, screw that. Yeah, this is the way this is. And I'm like, look, there's another way to look at this.
No, I hate
Maybe they're not trying to do this to you. Maybe this is this,
Yeah.
or also too, like encouraging you.
Yeah.
You know, giving you the inspirational, like you sometimes say it as a joke. You're like, why you got to give me like the PC positive inspirational answer all the time?
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
There are times where I just want you to be my husband. I just want you to listen. And then like you'll like motivate me, or like you'll give me like this inspirational speech. And I'm like, shut up.
I'll be like, you can finish them dishes. Start with the cups. Work.
You want to die today, don't you?
See what I'm saying? Watch this later and see. I keep you out of jail. That's what I do for you. But that's the necessary, right?
Yeah, that is the necessary.
A good couple does the necessary for each other. And sometimes it's not stuff that you want to do, but you know the other person needs.
Yeah.
It's not always stuff you're like, I just know I need to do that.
Yeah.
Or then, you know, things get out of whack.
True.
End up in a counselor's office or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a good song. 03 Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
All right, so that's the song this week. So, guys, the call to action this week is, what is your power couple song? Now, maybe you don't feel like you have a power couple. Maybe it's just the song that represents your couple.
Yeah, or like the song that you want to be your power couple song.
Ooh, that's good too. So we're just
like
gonna
if you're not in a relationship right now, but you that you will be. Like, what do you think your power couple song will be?
That's actually good, because it includes other people that aren't in a relationship, all the single people. So, like, what's the couple song that you hear, duet or not, that when you hear it, you're like, that's what my relationship needs to be.
That's what I want. That's what I want my relationship to be.
So that's the call to action. We'll put it up in the chat. And now what we're going to do, we've never done this before. It's the first time ever. We're going to allow the producer, Norm, to ask us some questions, rapid fire. And we are going to do the best we can to answer them.
Yeah.
And we are okay putting some of our business out in the street, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. All right. So Norm has some questions for us.
Some questions from the audience.
Okay. So we have a live studio audience here. We got Elias and Jackie hanging out here in our studio audience, and we got some questions. And so good luck.
Good luck to you.
You did answer the matching tattoo question. That was one of them. So you got to that one. Next one's for Kristina. What? Fat Gabi or skinny Gabi?
Oh God. I don't know. There's parts.
Wait a minute. Wait one damn minute.
Wait, no.
I'm a person.
No, wait. There's parts of Fat Gabi that I miss, and then I'm going to tell you what it is.
Yes.
Is that like when I lay on him now, like he's not squishy. So like I'm like, you're not squishy.
She does
anymore.
complain about you. She's like, why is your rib in my chin?
Why is your rib in my face? Like I want a pillow. That's what I miss. But no, I like skinny Gabi.
Just for health reasons, because I'm going to be here longer.
He's healthier.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. But I do miss squishy Gabi.
Squishy Gabi. I like it that way.
Squishy.
I miss Squish Gabi.
She calls me, you want to know a nickname?
Squish Monster.
Squish Monster. She calls me
Squish Monster?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's still like that in her phone when I call her.
It's still like
that
on my phone. It says Squish Monster.
I'm going to call you that at the gym when we go.
Oh, another power couple tip. You got to have nicknames for each other.
Yeah.
Got to have nicknames. We got a lot of them.
We do.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
All right, next one. Bino, you touched on it already, of when you knew she was the one. Kristina, when did you know Gabi was the one?
Oh, that's a good one. God, when did I know?
I'm going to take a drink on this
Hold
one.
on, I'm thinking. Oh my gosh. I think I knew like the first like couple months that we were dating. Like, I don't know. I just felt it like.
Was there something I did? Was there like a day where like we go somewhere or?
I don't know if we went somewhere.
When did you first see? I'm gonna elaborate on this question just to try to help along here. Like, when did you see me as a potential life mate? Like, oh, wow, I might actually be with you.
You know what? It was probably after Texas.
Oh, so the Texas story.
It was probably after Texas, because I was like, if he's willing to go the lengths to like come to Texas to see me, and
so
like we had only been dating like a couple months, then like, why wouldn't you know?
So if you haven't watched the other episodes, I went to go see her. Drove a day to Texas with her friend,
with
who I
my
just
best
met,
friend who you had just met, didn't even know,
just to go see her for one day, pick her up and drive back.
Yeah.
Just because she didn't think I would.
Right.
Almost got arrested and thrown in jail by the DEA.
Oklahoma police.
Exactly. Not that there were drugs in there, but because they thought that the gas tank was tampered with.
Yeah.
Why would someone drive to Texas for one day to turn around and go home?
I mean,
And then be driving with someone that you don't know their last name and you just met.
oh my God.
We honestly, from the outside looking in,
It looks bad. Yeah.
We look like mules,
You did.
like drug mules,
Yeah.
straight up. But so that
I
because
set you up.
so because I straight up thought you set me up. Like, this chick set me up this whole time just to have me go pick up her drugs. But
Keeping her out of jail.
Keeping me out of jail.
keeping you out of jail.
So
I did that.
Because you did that, yeah.
That showed that I was
showed, yeah.
husband worthy.
Yeah.
That I was the one.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Okay, moving on to the next one. All right, Bino, we'll start with you. What was your favorite adventure? What has been your favorite adventure together?
Oh, that's a good question.
Favorite adventure? Man.
We had so many. Let me think.
Can we both answer, or is this just to me? Favorite adventure? Man, when we went hiking in Colorado, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like just me and you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think. Like, all right,
We've
it's not an
done
adventure.
so many
You know what?
things,
There's one time. There was one time that we were in San Antonio. Was it the Texas trip? And I had you on my shoulder. I carried you around San Antonio on my shoulders.
Yeah, that was the same trip.
Same trip?
Yeah.
I remember that. Like I had you on my shoulders, like not the whole day, but significantly. I remember carrying you on my shoulders and doing that.
Yeah.
And like that was kind of cool.
You were just walking down the street with her on your shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was a lot smaller then, guys.
It's like, look at that couple.
Yeah.
Look at those weirdos.
Yeah. Like adventures. What else have we done that's like adventures wise that has been really
Well,
cool?
like all the things that like American Idol was an adventure. Texas was an adventure. Where else did we do?
No, I'll tell you, adventure, and I got to go back to the burpee thing. Man, I cried at the end of that thing. Like that, I got up in the morning, started doing burpees at 5 a.m.
Yeah, but that's your adventure. That's not
No.
our adventure.
Well, when you think adventure, you think, okay, like we're in the wilderness or something. But
No,
I thought
I
it was an
think he means
adventure because
like
throughout
a-
the day, you were making sure I had water.
Like an event
you
that
were
we did
playing
together,
music.
though. Like that's
Okay.
kind of like your
Yeah,
journey.
a
That's
couple's
not,
adventure,
that's not my
Bino.
journey.
Oh, my bad.
Stop being selfish.
Sorry.
That's
it's about
not.
me.
No,
Hey,
it's not, yeah, that's not
Bino
my
Salazar
journey.
Jamcast, not Kristina's Jamcast. They want to hear about me. They don't
It
wanna hear
might
about
be
you.
after this.
What if this whole thing becomes like
Texas justice.
Texas Justice?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what. If we answer another question that comes back, I'm trying to think like an adventure. Like, have we done any like hiking like that?
No, I don't think he means adventure as like we had to be in the wilderness. I think he
Not
means,
at all.
He means adventure like
What about the
something
time-
that we've done together that like we really enjoyed. Like there was just the two of us. Like that was like exciting and fun.
Okay, like a fun adventure. Oh, remember the time we went to the CrossFit gym in the Dominican, and we left.
No, that was crazy cool, and it was scary at the same time.
It was scary, so we left.
Yeah.
We left the resort
At like
because
4
we try to.
a.m.
We don't always do it, but whenever we travel, we try to find like a CrossFit gym
Yeah.
somewhere. And we left the resort, and they don't encourage
we
that.
got in an Uber.
They don't encourage it because like the
when
resort.
our Uber driver didn't speak any English, we had to use like the Google Translate on the phone to tell him where we were going. And then we get to the spot and it's like pitch black outside because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm like, we're gonna die.
I'm like, we're gonna get murdered.
Like someone
we're
set
gonna
us
die
up.
out
There's
here.
no
Yeah.
CrossFit gym out here.
I
And
mean,
then-
there was, and
It
it
was
was
amazing. Yeah,
it was
but-
so awesome.
But and then we spent the day walking
we
around.
spent the day walking around over there.
That was an
Still on
adventure.
his shoulders?
No, this was just like
And I was gassed, honestly, out
Yeah.
there that the humidity was so. It's outside. The CrossFit gym is outside,
Yeah.
and it was sweating buckets. I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to carry you that day. But that was cool. We did that.
Cool. My favorite adventure actually is when we went to Vegas for a honeymoon, and we went basically because there was like a UFC event, and
Our
like we
honeymoon,
both
we
like
went to
love
to
UFC.
Vegas.
So we went to Vegas to see this UFC event, and Gabi like went around the entire event and got me like autographs from all the fighters and pictures with all the fighters. He's like, "Hey, my wife wants to take a picture
All
with
right,
you."
I'm gonna be honest. Yes, that was awesome.
that was me showing you that I was willing to put my pride and ego aside to be a grown ass man
Yeah.
going around and asking these fighters, my wife wants to take a picture.
He did, and I got pictures with like.
Would you take a picture with my
all
wife?
The fighters that like I loved, like that, like when we first started watching.
This
That was
is
amazing.
like before the ultimate
Before
Fighter.
it was like super popular.
Like there was only maybe a couple thousand people, and we were only a couple rows back. We got pictures with everybody, and she really liked it.
Yeah, it was so fun. We sat really close, and so like we actually sat behind Diego Sanchez's family.
Yeah,
when he was fighting, like his whole family was in the row in front of us.
that was cool.
That was super
cool.
awesome.
That was cool adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's so many more.
Yeah, we've been together.
I mean, hit us in the spot with the questions. What you get, son?
Yeah.
All right. Kristina, you go first on this one. Biggest pet peeve.
Gabi, when he does this with his beard, oh, it drives me nuts. Like I don't know why he's got it. Like
I have like
he's got like a sensory thing, so he's constantly like pulling at his beard,
touching something. Playing,
it drives me crazy.
I just like to
that, and when he gulps water. I can't stand gulping.
Well, wait. Talk about my pet peeve. All right. So, what if your pet?
Wait a minute. He said one.
Wait, I got some more. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding.
What if your pet peeve is mine? My pet peeve is that you are okay crunching and eating chips, and you are loud. But if I do it, it annoys you. Yet you're just as loud as I am, and I catch you. I'll walk in, and you'll be like, and then you're like. Because
I do it when you're not around, and like if you're around, I like make sure to like not do it. You intentionally.
No, I don't intentionally. Like when you eat crunchy stuff, don't you eat it because the crunch is part of the reason why you eat it?
Yeah, but you're so loud.
Well, I gotta go in the other 20 years. We still have this problem. I'm sitting there eating pork rinds.
It's not just him though; it's the kids too. Like when
do you know what I have to do
eating,
now?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
tell you guys
so
out there,
bad.
this is what you have to look forward to.
So bad.
I suck my pork rinds now. When I eat my pork rinds,
He like puts them in his mouth and he's like,
till they get soft enough, and then I just
and then
force them down because I don't want to make her mad. Because if I crunch them, then I'm sleeping on the couch. Yeah, so she's So
I don't like to hear people chew. I mean, you know that.
it's like walking on eggshells around here. I can't eat
Yeah.
if I'm slapping my lips too much when I'm eating.
If you come over here with those chips, Isabel, you're gonna die.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a pet.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
pet peeve both ways.
Same. Really? That's your pet peeve?
What?
Me?
Yeah, definitely the.
I thought you'd have something better. That was lame.
He said, I'll come up with
That's the one that.
That
How
was-
much time you got, buddy?
I mean, I can keep going too if you want.
You know what? Is it a pet peeve? It's something that's a gift and a curse. You're the highs and the lows. Like you're not a morning person.
I'm so not a morning person.
But then, like, once the switch gets hit, then
I'm okay. Like I'm like ready to go for the day.
Yeah, but see, in the process though, I'm ready to hang myself. And then you're like, wow, the sun is up and I feel great. And I'm over there going like. That happens so much. Now I just kind of embrace it.
Oh
like,
my God.
Like
That's so funny.
you know what it is, honestly. And I think
It's because he makes so much noise in the morning. Like I'm trying to sleep and he gets up and he like turns on every light in the
so that's another
house.
thing. Still 20 years deep, and I've got a tiptoe in the morning like it's 4:45.
Yeah, when I get up in the morning, I am like super like ninja quiet.
No,
so
you're not.
you can
It's
sleep.
just because I don't complain about that shit. I can't bang into nothing. I'm sitting there like,
Hey,
slide the door into the closet. Make sure the light switch isn't loud.
Do you
Make
guys
sure the
got
ice
some room
maker-
for Gabi to come home with you?
Like what? I'm not trying to be loud. It's just how things
no,
are. Like
you're so loud though.
next question.
Moving on.
Sucking on pork rinds. That is hilarious.
Takes me an hour to eat a bag.
All right.
She beats me. She beats me.
I do.
Kristina, the last time that out of nowhere you looked at Bino and you were like, man, I really love him.
Oh, just yesterday. We actually had this conversation.
It was good. Good conversation.
No, I did. I don't know. It's probably. I mean, it's gonna sound stupid, but it's a lot more than like just like once a month. Like randomly throughout the week, I'll look at him and be like, man, like I love you, like 'cause he's just so supportive and he's a good dad, he's a good husband. Like he keeps our house going. Like, yeah, yesterday I was like, I love you. I actually told him like a bunch of times, like, yeah, you said that. So yeah.
Mm.
I love
Bino,
you.
same question.
It's gonna sound like a cop out. I don't think of those statements in the moment, and I tell her all the time. I do say it. It's just like, I don't know. It's like all the time. It's all the time. We've been through so much in the past like 18 months. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the moments that I love you most is when I see you do things that I know are hard for you, but I know you do them because it's good for us or like it's good for the situation. And I see that like struggle and like, I want to beat that person up. No, it's just like, no, or if even if it's like, look, if it's like we have to buckle down or like we have a financial situation or like there's, COVID, man.
Yeah.
COVID was that test. If you are still in a relationship
through COVID, you're amazing.
You probably got something going on.
Yeah, you're probably good to go for forever.
Because the mental toughness that you need to show and the collective mental toughness as a couple. Yeah, I can say, not the last time, but one that comes to mind is just recently Mateo's birthday. And this comes from you coming from a family of like having that love and sharing that love. Mateo's a gamer and you had a gamer theme and you did all the little things for him. Like we got the cake chick hooked us up with the cake.
Oh, yeah, and the cookies.
Yeah, like going to that extent, like is who you are. And like I'm appreciative of that. And like our kids know no different. That's what they see and that's what they know. But when I see that, I'm like, I love you for that. I love you for loving unapologetically, giving all of yourself and doing the extras for things like birthdays that to some people could be like, all right, I have a birthday every year. It's cool. But to you, it's special to you and you make sure that it's special for them, especially like your kids are lucky. So like in that moment, I remember thinking like, big one. I love you for that. Like for sure. Like there are, doing things like that. Don't start crying. I ain't crying.
Baby.
Next question.
Any questions from the audience? Any more questions?
No?
No.
So, all right. So we made it through the questions and we didn't get a divorce.
Yeah.
Nothing came up that we couldn't answer.
No, I mean, I feel like at this point, I don't know, it would have to be something really bad.
Nah, I think we're good.
I think
but
we're okay.
But this is, we talked about this before and I'll say this, guys, it's never over.
No.
You never stop working and working at it. And you change. Like we've changed. Look, we're not
totally,
done. We're not
totally changed.
We're not, but even now, even today, another 20 years, God willing that we're around until we're 100 and even after, like we're going to be, when we're 70. Yeah. We joke about like what we're going to be. So like our wedding song is Don't Change by Music Soul Child. And there's a line in there where he says like, I'll love you when your hair turns gray. I'll even love you if you gain a little weight. And the video is like them in a rocking chair and they're old and it's like a foreshadow going back in time. Like we talk about how we're going to be
in a car crash and she
right. But the video shows them being old
like
and their kids and going back in time. And like, how are we going to be when we're 80? You're still going to be bitching at me. Well, at that point, I'm going to be sucking on pork rinds because I won't have any teeth. At that point, I won't have any teeth. Be like, why is your rocking chair so loud? I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, girl, I can't.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's gonna be fun,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna, but we will change.
Yeah, we will change,
and we'll have to change with that.
And then we'll just like we'll roll with the punches like we do now.
Yeah, and roll with the punches through hard times too. It's not just all the fun stuff. I mean, we get to
we have done a lot of fun stuff, but like even like this past year, we've had a lot of issues, like
that
not like
come up not that, between us, but like in life,
but like life issues that kind of took a toll on us. And like I think there was a couple times where you and I like kind of fought about them because we both didn't know how to deal with them. Yeah. So like that's my point is like when people say like power couple or like we're like the perfect couple or the ideal couple, it's like yeah, but there's a lot like you don't see. Like we only let you see what we want you to see. Like Gabi and I are really good at like not fighting in front of people. Like, we really try not to do that because it's, it's our personal business.
Not because we're trying to put a front on.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, there's a time and place for stuff. And when you're around people, sometimes you can't be or say what you want to say, or, like, give it the attention and the diligence and the mindset that you want to have. And there's this is something I think that we do really well too. And I think we're at that point where we can wrap up. But when we argue, something we do now we don't do before, we don't take it to the end where we have to solve the argument right then and there.
Yeah.
And back in the day,
We
you
kinda
and
just,
I would
like-
go to the no, we're solving it and we're gonna figure out.
We would
whether
talk
you
for
were
like
right.
oh my god,
Like
hours.
someone is gonna win and someone's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Now we can agree to disagree, and in some cases when we have to get
and
to a
sometimes we don't
solution,
even solve it. Like we
we'll
just
sit
let it
on
go. We just
and
let
then
it go.
hours later, what
Yeah.
I've learned? Our state is different.
Yeah.
Like now we're not angry, and then we can talk about it when we're not angry, and then we'll deal with it differently.
Yeah.
And that's something that we do a lot more
Yeah,
of. But we
that's
still
true.
fight, we still argue, we still bicker. She still hits me repeatedly.
Why do you lie to these people?
Guys, if you see me with a bruise at the gym tomorrow, you know what happens. She's like, why you put all our business out there on the street? No, she doesn't beat me.
You need to sleep on the couch.
I need a better
Outside.
couch. See, if I had a good couch,
The couch outside.
if I had a good couch and you made me sleep in a couch, then I wouldn't be so.
Oh, I do remember there was one time we had a really good couch, and you would joke, and I was like, yeah, but we fight over who sleeps on the couch now. Like, there was a time like when we would fight, and I'd be like, I'm sleeping on the couch. He's like, no, I'm sleeping on the couch. Because the couch, yeah, like, no, I'm sleeping on the couch. This couch is comfortable.
So, anyways,
I
I think this has been a great episode.
agree.
We've shared a lot of great
Probably your
stories.
best episode yet.
Well, I wonder why. Good reflection.
Yeah.
Honestly, we shared tips too. We shared about knowing when to allow your significant other to have the spotlight.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about that. Lifting as you climb. Right.
Being a little selfish for yourself too. Like, you got to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not gonna be good for your partner either. You gotta
That's so
actually
true.
do for you. Like, we talked about that, like being a little bit selfish. It's okay to be selfish every once in a while.
Yeah. What is it that really gets you excited? Like, don't
Yeah.
take that away from the other person. Let them have those things.
Yeah.
Everyone's got those things they have to have. Like, if you got your guilty pleasure, and I got to eat my peanut M&Ms, and you got to eat your Swedish fish.
Yeah. You gotta eat your peas when I'm not here.
She won't let me eat peas, man. That's another thing. Can we go back to the things the frustrating things? I can't eat peas around her.
No, it didn't say you can't. I just won't eat them.
They're not in the house.
Stop lying. There's a whole bag in the freezer.
There was one
right now.
time, and then we're gonna wrap up. I put a post on Instagram, I think, or Facebook.
Yeah, it was
where she
like-
left the house. She went out for the night. Can I tell them this is my story?
Who are you talking to like that? You
She
better
left.
chill out,
she went
homie.
out. She went out for the night, and I opened up a can of peas, and I put some smooth jazz on, and lit the candles, and I took a
He's
picture
so dramatic.
of me eating a can of peas when she wasn't home. I felt like I was cheating on her.
They're just gross.
Yeah, but other people like peas.
I don't care. You can eat them. I just don't want them in my food.
Anyways, so you want to support the other person's decisions. Disregard everything
Let
we
him
just
eat
said.
peas so he doesn't cry like a baby.
I love you.
I love you more.
That's all I have to say about that. Everybody, thank you for coming out.
Love you.
King and Queen. That's a winning hand? No, it's not. It's not a winning hand. It's not a pair. I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh my
the shirts
goodness.
look nice though. But
Yeah.
anyways, guys,
Yeah.
thanks for coming out. Thanks for sharing a little bit.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I will see if we have you back or not.
Probably not.
I'm gonna check my schedule. Oh, I forgot you managed
Oh,
that.
I'll check your schedule.
But honestly, thank you for coming out, and I'm happy that we did this. And thanks for your time. We'll see you guys next time on the Bino Salazar Jamcast.